Danny Jones can hear us. I know he's listening and just texted here.
Oh, he could hear us.
Or he could see us.
Okay.
He said he didn't have any audio.
Well, we'll try and keep the audio going.
He said the broadcast wasn't worth watching if he couldn't hear you and I. I thought might have been exaggerating a little bit.
Well.
So you and I are Troy Stout and Trent Becker bringing you Gilbert High School football on YouTube. Tonight, the Gilbert Tigers open District 8 play, 3A District 8 play against the Ballard Bombers. The Bombers from just down the road, down Highway 69. Literally, you could get on Highway 69 right here at Casey's, Troy.
You could.
Take you right into Huxley, where their high school football field is.
Definitely could. I took that road many times.
Ben Nix, one of my kids I've coached a few times, is our kid captain tonight. He's out there with Cooper Hearn, Drew Hawthorne, and Jacob Teresi doing the fake coin toss. As we know, the coin toss happened in a smoke-filled room back here in the back hall. So the Tigers come in 2-2 after a 28-0 loss to Greene County last week. Ballard Bombers lost a non-district game to Winterset last week. That was like 28-14, something like that in that neighborhood. So Ballard's 1-3, Tigers 2-2. BC Moore rankings. Brent Moore was actually in the press box here just a few minutes ago, and I was talking to him about it. The losses that Ballard have been against pretty good opponents, where the Tigers' 2 losses not as I would say Greene County's good loss. That's probably a playoff team. Doesn't really matter, though, what BC Moore or anybody else. The Tigers are going to play a game here on this artificial surface. If you're listening at home and you can hear us, and you know my number, you can text us. We'll look at the bottom of the – I want to pull up the YouTube and see if there's any comments at the bottom. Good to go, gentlemen. Tanner Hansen says. Linda Clark says, go Tigers. Troy Fluhop's listening in. Get the privilege of working with his son.
Yeah.
Cole Fluhop at the Gilbert Middle School, one of my favorite kids.
Yeah, had him on the baseball team this past year. It was a good time.
Cole's a good guy. He always talks a good game of baseball. Drove his kids. Troy knows I drove his kids out to Buck Hill on the school bus. Maybe he'd not talk about it. I'm guessing he doesn't share that a lot in public circles, that he trusts his children on old T-Beck's bus. So far, so good. The Tigers, I believe, won the toss and deferred to the second half. They're going to kick off to start the first half here with Jack Dresser, number 9, who's kind of moved into some kicking. We saw Christian Corey a little bit earlier this year, and Jack is now kicking off and tried a long field goal a couple weeks ago. Good leg on the ball, but not. Maybe that was last week. It's all kind of a blur at this point, but kind of a rainy afternoon. We went to Des Moines right after school. Troy, when we came back, rained really hard down by Ankeny. Poured. By the time we got up here, blue skies. It's actually a very delightful evening out. If you look at the flag, a little breeze out of the north. Dresser will kick from north to south, and we're underway. High, deep kick. It's going to be taken down at about the 5-yard line by somebody from Ballard. I can't see that far. He's going to go up the right sideline. Tigers are going to slow him down. He gets by the pack, and he's going to get out of bounds before Nolan Mueller shoves him to the turf at about the 35-yard line. So good return there by Ballard. I don't know who it was. Listen, we may have some Ballard fans listening. I don't know. If we do,
we'll try our best.
Appreciate you. Think white jerseys with big red numbers on them would be easy for this old man to read, but if you've listened to any of my broadcasts, I really struggle with the scene and the hearing. And walking up the steps to get up to the press box is very difficult.
It's actually a trying experience for all of us.
Ballard will start out at the shotgun. Connor Drew, their quarterback, number 5. He'll take the snap. He's going to give it underneath to
catch a number there.
Donovan Bertrand. It looked like
26?
number 20. Is that 20 or 26?
I think it was Bertrand, number 20, it looked like.
Bertrand, they don't have dimensions on here, but he's not a big dude. Kind of ran underneath. The Tigers had trouble finding him and locating him. So Ballard, kind of a pass-happy team for the second week in a row. The Tigers are going to face a very, very good wide receiver. We'll get to that in just a minute. So
That's a keeper.
Edwards is going to keep it now. Nobody knew he had the ball. He's going to go up the middle. The Tigers are not going to get him until he gets to the 25. So Ballard eating up some yardage here on the first drive. That was just
straight quarterback draw there, and there was just a C open in the middle there. I don't think anybody touched Bertrand until Connor Drew, right? Until he got about 20 yards out of that thing.
So Drew runs for 20-some yards, pick up the first down. Ball's down to 24 now, 1st and 10. Edwards out of the shotgun. He's going to keep it again, pretty much the same play. Tigers sniff it out a little better, but not till he gets 5 yards. Bring up 2nd and 5. Want to thank Chad Olson. I see Christian Corey doesn't have any pads on. So how did their kicker get hurt? I'm assuming he's hurt.
There's lots of things that can happen. You remember Martin Gramatica? He tore an ACL.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's kicking.
I'm predicting he's
probably celebrating.
Maybe he's stubbed his toe or something going across. Edwards is going to give it on the reverse now. That's to Sam Peterson. Peterson's going to be short of a first down. It'll bring up 3rd and about 3. Tigers did string that out well and defended it well. Made Peterson turn up field where he ran into some Tiger blockers. We'll do a little better here. We're kind of getting our legs underneath us. We had a little technical difficulty. Imagine that.
Whoa,
we had a little
shocking.
technical, big shocking breaking news here
Shocking
out of Gilbert.
There.
But beautiful night tonight, probably in the low 60s. It was like 65, I think, when I parked my car.
Sounds about right. Yeah, you mentioned their passing attack. They've Connor Drew's 55 for 99 attempts.
Nick Edwards, his favorite target.
Yep, 20 for 432.
Edwards is 4. He's at the top of the screen. He's going to keep it. The quarterback keeps it. He's going to plow through, break another tackle. He's still on his feet. That was just a good run by Connor Drew. Connor Drew's put the team on his back and taken Ballard right down there inside the 10 now, first down.
Yeah, he kind of slipped through that line like, kind of like mayonnaise slipping through a door jam.
Oh, I hate that. You drop the lid, the jar gets all greasy.
Yeah.
So first and goal now, ball's inside the 10, about the 7-yard line. Edwards will take the shotgun snap. He's going to give it underneath. I believe this is Bertrand again. He's going to string it out. Tigers got to turn him up, and they do. I think that was Drew Hawthorne that shoves him out of bounds. He might have got a couple yards on that.
Right about the 2-yard line, I think they're going to mark it.
That was Nate Nessa, 20. That was actually 23, Bryce Hasek. It's really a crapshoot on the numbers tonight, I'm just going to tell you. I don't know that anybody really cares who it was, unless you're from Ballard, who it was that carried from Ballard.
The toughest thing is when they're right in front of you, because if they're down at the goal line, you can actually get a little better view at the angle. But they're going a big power set this time.
They're going to give it over the left side. He's going to slip in. That is 26, Blaine Herman. So I think we've seen 4 or 5 different ball carriers here on this first drive, and maybe part of the Ballard strategy is to cause confusion because you don't know. You got these 5 or 4 guys that are all in their 20. The numbers are in their 20s, but Ballard's going to go in. If you want to write down.
Yep.
9:33 first quarter on a 2-yard run. That was Nate Nessa. Low snap. The ball's on the turf. Nick Edwards, the wide receiver, is going to try to run it out. He's going to throw it in the end zone. It's going to be batted down by the Tigers. So the Tigers do catch a break. The Ballard Bombers cannot convert on the PAT. It was a low snap mishandled by the holder, Nick Edwards, who's a wide receiver. And I assume he's got good hands, but it's kind of a bad snap rolled back to him. He tried to, what do they call that, fire, where everybody takes off.
Yeah.
And there's some routes that are supposed to be run, but they threw it in the end zone. But the Tigers had sniffed that out really well and had 2 or 3 defenders there in the area to knock the pass down. Good crowd here from Gilbert. Most of the bleachers are full tonight. Ballard has traveled with approximately 484 fans over there, if I counted them. Yeah. I did count the band. Last week, 38 kids in the band at Greene County. Oh. Tonight, significantly more than 38 kids. I think I got to 120. I'm pretty sure I might have missed a row. I think that's what I heard. We're right around that neighborhood, 120, 130 kids. If you count the drum major and flags and everything, we're well over 120.
Yeah, fantastic program.
It is. We're just talking about Byron Tinder. Was overcome so much this season with the bad shoulder and whatnot. Nathan Veazey and Carson Johnson will be deep. Teeing it up to kick it is 37, Obi Soash. Obi Soash was one of my Sunday school kids at Cornerstone Church of Ames, Troy. I know him. Veazey's going to bobble the ball to 20, picks it up. Now he's going to cut back, pick up some yardage, but kind of a high wobbly kick, and Veazey had to run up, didn't get a good mitts on it, but picks it up and gets back outside the 25, almost to the 30.
Yeah, he slipped through a couple of tacklers there to get up about 10 yards. Initially, that looked like that might be a...
We'll say 27, so he got 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Obi Soash was one of my Sunday school kids. Seems like he shouldn't be old enough to play high school football. I'm sure he'd tell you I was one of his favorite Sunday school teachers. 9:28 to play in the first quarter. Ballard leads the Gilbert Tigers 6-0. You can see that on the top of your scoreboard. We don't feel so guilty about not giving the score as much. Henningsen up under center. He'll give it to Veazey over the right side, and Ballard's right there to greet him. He's going to get shoved back and lose a yard or 2 on first down.
You see if the Tigers can respond here. And Ballard marched down the field pretty effectively in that first drive there, and the Tigers definitely don't want to give them the ball right back.
So last week at this time we trailed 7-0. The Greene County Rams Carter Morton, their nifty wide receiver, ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. So we're doing a little bit better than that. We've made them work a little harder. There's going to be given underneath. I think that was Cooper Hearn. Hearn, the fullback, gets some yards back. Cooper Hearn, generally positive yardage plays. The Tigers will shuttle in some new players. That's Spencer Klatt, number 4. Saw him a lot last week, probably more than we did the first couple weeks. Troy Klatt got a lot of action. In a 28-0 loss, the Tigers lost to 2A juggernaut, powerhouse, Greene County.
Sure.
I can't imagine they're not going to do really well in 2A this year. They play in a district where OA-BCIG, I think, is really the only team that has a winning record in that. Henningson's going to roll right, look to pass on 3rd down, throws it out in the flat. He's got Drew Hawthorne there. He's going to have the first down out to about the 40-yard line.
Nifty play there, nice little rollout with the quarterback. Was patient and waited for Hawthorne to spring open. Bombers had it covered pretty well initially.
Blake Griner also out there. Seen a lot of Blake Griner this year. Kind of flooded that side of the field, and Henningsen had a couple options. Went to Drew Hawthorne, the senior. I'm pretty sure we just broke the huddle with 12 guys, but I thought that was a penalty in high school football. They're going to go over the left side to Vesey. Vesey's going to get 5 or 6 yards on first down, Troy, and that's
good. Good little run there. Positive yardage. 2nd and 5 makes it a lot easier.
Vesey is a positive yardage guy. I keep interrupting you there. But positive yardage guy, and that's what the Tigers need to do now is move the chains. Hawthorne and Hansen to the bottom of the screen. I've not seen Tucker Hansen on the field yet. I don't know if there's news there that we didn't get. Henningsen dropping straight back to pass. He's going to throw it deep down the right sideline. He's got Drew Hawthorne down there. Hawthorne had to break off his route at about the 30 and couldn't catch up to that throw. So I'm kind of scouring the sidelines for number 6, if you see him. I'd have to get word. We'll put our crack reporter, Chad Olson, on it in the other booth. Where in the world is Tucker Hansen? Tucker Hansen has accounted for a majority of the Tiger offense this year from the wide receiver doing some reverses and end arounds. We'll see if we can figure out what happened to him. So Spencer Klatt to the top of the screen. Trey Hansen at the bottom. Blake Griner also out there. So 3 wide receivers right. Vesey will stay in and block. Now Hansen's going to go in motion. They're going to fake it, give it underneath to Vesey. Vesey's got a little room to run. Oh, he's going to be close to the first down. They're going to say his knee was down about the 48. Probably a pretty good spot. I think he kind of went knee down and then lunged forward. So
kind of army crawled it.
Even though his arm got over the 50, I believe they're going to mark that short. Tigers are going to come up to the line quick. 4th and 1 now, just shy of midfield. Hansen's going to take the snap and push it forward. He'll have the first down and 2 or 3 more yards to add on.
Big play there to keep the chains moving, obviously. Tigers now in Ballard territory.
Yeah, they just went quick there, Troy. Didn't allow Ballard to do any subs or change their formation. I'm sure they expected in a tight formation like that they were going to get a fullback or quarterback dive, and they did. Goes behind his big center, Alex Ergenreiter. Call out some of those linemen here in a minute when we get a second. Hansen with the long count. He's going to do a counter up underneath the Hearn. Hearn breaks 1 tackle, spins out another one, and he's thrown to the ground maliciously.
Yeah, it looked like a really, really good play initially, and then Ballard was able to kind of maintain discipline, sniff that out. And
Sam Salasek, number
really
55, got him. Probably won't do a lot of Ballard defenders calling tackles tonight, sorry. It's a little above our pay grade. We don't have spotters. Sometimes they have guys that like they'll point to a number and tell you who made the tackle. We don't have one of those guys. It's just Troy and I up here. Trey Hansen will come in motion right to the bottom of your screen. Give to Vesey over the left side. Stutter step, push forward past the 45. We'll bring up 3rd and about 5 or 6.
Got Klatt going back into the game along with number 26, Blake Griner, like you were talking about earlier.
Just spent a little time with Cooper Klatt today at the middle school. He's a 6th grader at Gilbert Middle School now. Got some fun trivia planned for tonight as we have time. You can play along at home if you want. I don't think you'll want to, but if you do want to, you can. Shotgun snap now. Henningsen's dropping back, throws it down the middle of the field. He had a receiver in the area. It goes off the top of Blake Griner's hands. Fortunate for the Tigers that was not intercepted. It's going to bring up 4th down at about the 45. Tigers will punt this and try to play a little field position. I got a trivia question. You used to work for the Ballard School District. Am I correct on that?
I did for a year, yeah.
And you did, what job did you hold there?
I was kind of similar to what I do now, plus I was a technology help desk guy.
Kind of the tech support kind of guy.
Yeah.
Vesey will come back and punt this. How did the Ballard School District get its name? What did they come up with Ballard? You know this one? Hang on just a second. We'll wait for the punt, then you can dazzle us with your knowledge. Carson Johnson in motion. Vesey will drop straight back. He hits it high. Not going to be real deep, but it's a high punt. Bounces at about the 20. Takes a Tiger roll. Is going to go inside the 15, and they'll down it at 14. 13. Carson Johnson down there. Ballard, like Ballard, because there's no town or anything named Ballard. It's not.
There's like a creek that goes by nearby there, so they took the name of the creek and turned that into the school district, because you've got Slater, you've got Cambridge, and you've got Huxley.
They're all connected by the Ballard Creek. I think Ballard Creek School District would have been a nice name, because then everybody would know that. So I had $1, went around lunch today, see if any of the kids, asked about 15 kids, none of them knew the answer. I got to keep my $1. High-stakes gambling at the middle school today.
Yeah.
All right, Connor Edwards in the shotgun formation. He's going to turn, give it underneath to somebody with a 20 number. Tiger faithful thought they saw a holding. I didn't.
It's Donovan Bertrand again. And Connor Drew again was a.
They don't have Drew's dimensions, but he's a big, tall. He's
kid.
Probably, I'm guessing, 6'3", maybe.
Yeah,
he's bigger than any of the running backs they have on the field or their wide receiver.
I think he's the tallest kid out there.
He might be the tallest kid on either side. Well, we do have Zach Buffington, who's 7'9", I believe. He's a freshman kicker. Edwards now in a spread formation. He's going to throw it out in the right flat off the hands of his receiver out there. That was the aforementioned Nick Edwards. Nick Edwards over 400 yards receiving on the year. So 2 weeks in a row, the Tigers have a pretty good pitch and catch combo that they got to defend for.
Big play early in the game.
Yeah.
After Ballard marched down the first possession, they've got a good chance to get a 3 and out and get some good field position back here.
Yeah, third and 11. Yep, ball at the 13. 4:53 to play in the first quarter. Tigers trail 6-0. Ballard took the opening kickoff and marched probably 65 yards for a touchdown. Edwards is going to roll right. He's going to throw deep down the right sideline over the head of a receiver out there. Tigers had it well defended, though. Trey Hansen out in pass defense, as was Tony Toronis. Got to talk to Tony's parents, Sari and BJ Toronis, our head basketball coach before the game. A couple of delightful people. Carl was also there, but I chose not to talk to Carl for obvious reasons. Carl always misquote me and ridicule my thoughts and ideals. Nah, that's not true. Carl's a buddy. He's a co-worker of the district. He actually works for the district, drives some kids down to Woodward that go to school down there. So this is going to bring up a punt now. Tigers have Carson Johnson deep. Somebody else, I don't know who that is. Punt's high. The Tigers have put a little pressure. This one's going to be over to Carson Johnson. It's actually going to bounce. Almost hit Tony Toronis in the tailbone. Tigers are really fortunate that didn't bounce up and hit Tony. He was blocking.
He was very close to it.
15 yards ahead of both deep receivers, and there's a code word, I don't know what we use, where you got to say get away and move everybody back. And Tony either didn't hear it or they didn't say it, but he didn't move and almost hit him. The Tigers are going to get really, really good field position out of this, Troy. 39-yard line is where they'll start their drive.
Part of the thing is if you hear that code word, which way are you supposed to run?
You're supposed to just run as far as you can. I don't know that there's a direction. I would think you'd run back towards the line of scrimmage. So now we got a flag thrown before anything happened. So somebody lined up off sides would be my guess. And the Ballard Bombers were the guilty party on that. Tori and I both reffed a little football. If you throw a flag like that, I didn't see anybody move.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody move either.
So somebody lined up off sides. They call it in high school, they call it encroachment. They don't call it offsides. NFL, NCAA call it offsides. Somebody encroached on the line of scrimmage. Henningsen up under center. He gives to VZ up the middle. He'll stutter step, pulling some Ballard kids, trying to pull the ball out of his hands, which doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do. VC's just a sturdy kid. I don't know what his dimensions are, but he's built like a fire hydrant. I'll look it up. VZ is 5'10", 205.
A good opportunity.
Good runner, top runner.
Keep the chains moving here at a 2nd and short. We got about 2nd and 2. Following the penalty and the run by VZ.
VZ will go left and stutter. He's going to get close to a first down. I think they're going to give it to him. Troy had to get to the 29. That's right where they're going to put the ball down.
Yep. So the referee indicates not the referee, the white hat indicates first down, so that'll get a new set of downs for the Tigers here.
They're driving inside the 30 now, trying to answer the opening drive touchdown by the Ballard Bombers. They lead 6-0, 3:45 to play in the first quarter. Teams exchanged punts. Now they're going to play action pass, throw it out in the flat. He's got a receiver out there, but Henningsen was under heavy duress. He was receiving some pressure from Carson Finch, number 35 for Ballard. Henningsen ended up on the turf. He did have Trey Hansen open out there, couldn't get him the ball. I think we'll credit the Ballard pass rush for that.
Yeah, not a lot of time there for.
Got a little love from Allison Fluhop. Cole's little sister said I was the best.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration.
I think,
but maybe not. 2nd and 10 now after the incomplete pass. They're going to give it on the end around to Trey Hansen. He's got some room to run out there. He gets around the corner. He's going to get the first down and get inside the 20, down to the 15. Good run by Trey Hansen. Good blocking on that outside. 67, Jake Steenhook out there blocking. Teresi had also pulled. Drew Hawthorne downfield blocking. Good play design. We usually see Tucker Hansen run that, and I can't help but assume he's hurt. He did get dinged up a little bit last week, but I think he played the rest of the.
I do see him down there on the sideline. So
maybe I wonder if he painted his fingernails for the game, waiting for him to dry, and he'll be in the game.
You know,
Tucker often does that.
That's why you got to go with the enamel.
We're just kidding. We hope he's not hurt. We like Tucker Hansen. Hope he's well. And
bunch formation here for the Tigers. First time we've seen that tonight, I believe. They did give his to VC, and he does pick up about 3 or 4. We call it 2nd and 7.
Wayne Chittick listening in. His wife, Jody, I think she's probably sub for you there at the Gilbert Middle School. You know Jody Chittick. Maybe it's Jody listening. It just says Wayne on the comments. I could be.
Breaking news, Tucker's out with a bit of an injury, and Scott said that at the intermediate pep rally this afternoon, so I believe that's publicly shareable.
I'm sorry to hear that. So he's not going to play at all, do you think?
My sources, I have sources that say that
right.
he's. I don't know details.
The play happened. You probably saw the video while we were squawking along, but the Tigers are going to have a 3rd and 6. Ball's at the 13. 2:40 to play in the first quarter. Tigers trail 6-0. Knocking on the door, definitely within field goal range here of Randy Sneezick calls a timeout. It's going to talk things over. The offensive coordinator for the Tigers, Randy Sneezick. They got a lot of good coaches.
Yeah.
Troy, I think we'll mention a couple of them while we're at it. Scott Arter's the head coach. Everett Charleston's in the booth next to me. Randy Sneezick on the field. Rennie Long, Joel Franz, and Chris Benda and John Davis. Now, I'm not saying that those are the most handsome guys I've ever seen, but they're pretty good football coaches, and we're glad they're here. Jim Clark, Andy Harris, and Nate Graves also helping out. So we got some trivia tonight. Go ahead and set that up, Troy.
It's not as much trivia, but as most people probably
it's education.
It's education.
We're educators. We work with students.
You want to know. You want to know what situation you're getting into. You want to know, kind of what's going on. So most people know that we're headed to the Raccoon River Conference next year.
If you didn't know that, we are.
We are headed to the Raccoon River Conference. Our middle school teams this year are competing already. As
Carroll
a trial
Tigers
run.
were here this week for
Carroll Tigers.
My
football.
son
was over playing in Carroll. So we're going to do a little bit of getting familiar with raccoons and trying to figure out, what is a raccoon and a little bit more about it.
All right, we'll talk that. We'll pepper in some anecdotes about that. I actually have some things to share about raccoons. I used to hunt them as a youngster.
There you go.
We'll bring that up. Now we got a key 3rd and 6 play. Henningson's take the shotgun snap. He's going to roll right. Throws down in the corner of the end zone. He had Drew Hawthorne down there. A little pressure put on by Ballard. Veazey was in there to block. Thought maybe they were going to get Veazey for the hold. He almost lost his receiver. So the Tigers are going to send Jack Dresser out to try to kick a field goal. See, 12 plus 7 plus 10 is that about a 29-yard field goal. Definitely within Jack's range. We've seen him boot it a lot farther than this. Tanner Henningsen will hold. Jack Dresser, very adept at soccer, has lent his soccer kicking skills to the football team. Hold is good. The snap is down. The kick looks good. I don't know if it's down the middle. It is, Troy. A nifty 29-yard field goal will half the lead. 6-3 now, the Ballard Bombers lead.
Yeah, and that makes it important as far as looking at earlier with the missed extra point by Ballard. So now suddenly you're in a situation where, another field goal ties you up, obviously. So really good-looking kick there by Jack Dresser. I think that would have had another 15, 20 yards in it for sure.
I don't know how to do this. How do you scroll down to the – you got to scroll up?
I don't know. Yeah, It's one of those reverse deals.
Okay.
Ding.
+3. Right. Nifty scoreboard brought to you by Troy Stout. So Raccoons – now, it's not the Raccoon Conference. It's the Raccoon River Conference, but the river was named after Raccoon.
So there's several things that I learned off the interwebs because everything's true on there. But
Wikipedia, the official source of all of our broadcasts, is Wikipedia.
True, Wikipedia. One of the things is that raccoon, if you didn't know, was basically named for the dexterity of its hands. So it comes from an Indian name from the Powhatan Indians, which means animal that scratches with its hands. So there you go. If you're
my wife is often referred to me as an animal who scratches with their hands, but I think it means something different. So I didn't know that. See, I didn't know that. I know a lot about raccoons. I didn't know that.
Just wait, there's more.
Oh. Dresser with a high kick is going to go all the way back to the goal line, where it's going to be caught. And it's going to be a touchback. He caught that ball with his feet in the end zone. I think it's where the ball is. I don't know if it's where the feet. I don't even know. Do you know?
It was really close. You know, I just, you know, from when I refed, I just kind of made it up as I went. So
Kyler Watson caught that ball. His feet were in the end zone. But if the ball breaks the plane of the end zone at any time, whether it's in somebody's possession or not, it's an automatic touchback in high school football. That'll bring the ball out to the 20 where the Ballard Bombers will bring their offense out. And that's going to be Connor Drew, the quarterback, number 5. Big, strong feller. He takes the shotgun snap. He's going to pump fake over the right side. He throws it to, that's going to be Nick Edwards out in the flat. I kind of think they're going to throw it at Nick Edwards a lot tonight. It looks like Drew Hawthorne is that Trey Hansen. Trey Hansen's actually, he's going to get that assignment. That's a tough draw. I know last week Tucker Hansen had Carter Morton, who's probably leading all of 2A in receiving. Troy, I'm telling you, that guy was the real deal. He's one of the best receivers I've seen in high school football since I've been here. Now Drew will go out the shotgun, low snap. He's going to give it up the middle. That low snap really messed up the timing of the play, and they're going to get no gain, maybe even lose a half yard.
All right, another big play here for Gilbert to try and keep the momentum they've gained here the last couple drives. Really stalled Ballard's offense and when they've been deep on their own side of the field here. So see what Ballard dials up. Got just under 2 minutes left in the first quarter here.
Well said, Nick Edwards with 420-some yards receiving, I think, on the season to over 100 yards. They're looking to throw that way, and they got him out there. Well defended by it. The ball was in Edwards' hands, but Trey Hansen comes in and slaps it away.
Yeah, that was excellent. That was like basically textbook coverage there on a little quick out that they were trying to do.
Hopefully Trey's brother Tyler saw that. Now, Tyler, are you in Las Vegas or Los Angeles? I knew it was some sort of loss, but there was some debate about that in the press box earlier, where you actually live, if it was Las Vegas. I thought you were Los Angeles because we named you the correspondent, our chief correspondent in Los Angeles, taking over for Brian Lounsbury for our L.A. area. So a high wobbly end-over-end punt. I don't think this is going to be returned either. It's going to bounce at about midfield and roll dead right at midfield. The Tigers will take over right at midfield. So Tigers have had good field position now, 2 straight drives. We'll see if they can convert this one again. Troy? Thanks for all of our listeners listening in tonight from all over the globe. Bruce Nelson listening in. He's related to Everett Charleston in some capacity and was listening in last week from, I think he's from Minnesota. Katie Charleston was listening in too. With her sons, they got to hear them referred to on the broadcast. Kids kind of like that when they're home. Allison Fluhop listening. That's how I went over my fans, mentioning their names. Henningsen will give it to Veazey up the middle. He's going to push forward behind some big old blockers. Who did he have in front of him there, Troy? I'm not so good on my lineman numbers. I need to get better. Isaac Rotman, he's a 3-year starter now at
not sure exactly. There's some
Ergen Ryder,
Ballard,
the center.
Ballard lineman there trying to bring him down like he was some sort of Tickle Me Elmo doll or something like that.
Some kind, gentle strokes. Henningsen up under center again. We're going to give it to Trey Hansen on the end round again. He's got a couple blockers, cuts back upfield. Probably a pretty good cutback by Trey there because there wasn't much developing outside. He had Isaac Rotman pulling out with Steenhook and Teresi. Ballard had sniffed that out and kind of stuffed it.
Yeah, I don't think he probably could have gotten that to the outside there. So good job of getting what you can on that. I think that's the right call.
Brennan Ergenreiter comes out with Cooper Hearn, and they'll put in Blake Greiner and Spencer Klatt getting a lot of time tonight with the injury to Tucker Hansen. Those two will be at the top of the screen. Bottom of the screen is Drew Hawthorne and Trey Hansen. Veazey will stay in and block for Henningsen. He moves up next to him. Henningsen will take the shotgun snap. And Tigers jump off sides. Timing of that was all bad. So instead of 3rd and 5, we're going to have 3rd and 10. Big difference in 3rd and 5. Well, they're taking dinner orders in the press box. I thought it was something like pressing, but
steak sounds good.
Tyler is in Los Angeles and Tanner is in Las Vegas. So I was right. I said I think he's got a brother in both towns, and I was right. I said Stacy Johnson, one of our volleyball coach and school teacher, and I were discussing that. Good to have both of you listening in from both losses. So 3rd and 10 now. Henningsen will drop straight back, throws out in the right flat over the hands of Drew Hawthorne, and there's lots of white shirts in that area. Troy, I'm concerned about the pick.
I don't know much about defensive formations, but it seems like they are dropping a lot back, more of maybe a zone type of thing. But But it seems like every time Tanner throws, there's a lot of white around. There's about, just looking at the screen, it looks like there are like 6 or 7 that were deep there in coverage. So it'll bring up 4th down for the Tigers, again, right from midfield. Trying to flip that field position again here.
We saw Morgan Smith punting 3 or 4 times and had a really good night punting last week. This is going to be VZ on this one, but we might see Morgan Smith before this night's over. Good leg. Wobbly kick, I think, is going to go towards the sideline. Bounce at the 30. Takes a phenomenal Tiger bounce all the way down inside the 10. That's where it's going to be down maybe the 10 or 11-yard line. So was not a good kick, but probably got at least 15 to 20 yards of roll on there. And usually when you hear that long whistle, do we have a flag? We do on the far side of the field. We'll see what the – usually thrown in the area where it's going to probably be on the receiving team. It was thrown at the 30, so it wasn't thrown at the line of scrimmage. Line of scrimmage penalties typically go on the offense. So that it's either going to be a block in the back or holding would be my guess. A block in the back is going to be the call.
Wow, that'll be a –
put the ball at about the 5. Yep. 5-yard line where Ballard will start 1st and 10. They lead 6-3, and they're going to flip the field, and they'll be down on the other end of the field. So our fantastic photojournalist, Chad Olson, will swing the camera all the way to the left. Tell us some more about these raccoons that you've done some research on.
Well, there are actually 6 different species of raccoons between North and South America. The most recognizable is the Procyon lotor, or the common raccoon that lives in the United States. Other varieties of the animal can be found farther south, inhabiting tropical islands in the Caribbean.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now, you don't see, like, when you see the movies like the Madagascar, fantastic movie about the animals, I didn't see any raccoons on there. Do they have them in Africa, do you know?
I think it's just native to, well, actually, no. Hold on. Got to remember my fun facts here. We'll get to that. Stay tuned.
My favorite raccoon of all time, the one that was on Elf. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
What do they call that? The Central Park raccoons. They were kind of naughty and got after Elf. That was good.
Well, here's one that'll apply a little bit to football. You ready for that?
Oh.
Raccoons, they're little masks that make them look like burglars. They are not just for show. They basically serve the same function as you would find a baseball player or a football player putting eye black under their eyes. Yeah. It's meant to disperse the light away, so at nighttime they can get more focus on things. And
nocturnal animals.
They're nocturnal.
You don't even have to read that. I know that. They're not, because you hunt them. You got to hunt them at night.
Yeah.
All right, back to the action here. Ballard will set up right on their old goal line. The quarterback gives to, pretty sure that was 26, Blaine Herman over the left side. I'm going to say no gain, maybe even lost a half yard.
Man, really? They're inside the 5 now. So
Tigers defense would
they got angry.
Do well to keep. Yeah, they kind of like the Central Park Raccoons in the movie Elf. Wow. Very angry.
Honestly, I think the raccoon knowledge base that I'm giving is probably inspiring their play.
Well, something is. I'm assuming it's that. They're going to give it over to the left side now. Tigers really sniffed it out, and they're going to haul him down right inside, maybe inside the 2, maybe the 1-yard line. We'll put it at the 2.
I actually think that was a slightly generous spot. That's my
that
call from 435 feet away.
We're actually getting some disparaging comments about raccoons on the
what?
They're not the most popular animal. Hopefully the conference
not.
is better. I get what people are saying. They go through your trash cans and stuff.
Good.
That's not what we're here, though. We're here to talk up our conference.
Yeah, exactly.
Edwards will take the snap out of the center, from center, and give it over the left side. A little room to run out there, but the Tigers really did a nice job of stringing that out.
And this might be a tricky punt here for Ballard if they're –
it's good. They're not going to get their usual drop. That was Carson Johnson and Cooper Hearn, who have actually backed up the Bombers 4 or 5 yards here on this drive. They started at about the 6, and they're all the way back to the 2-yard line. So they'll send their punter, who is the quarterback, which always something to keep in mind. Connor Drew, the quarterback, is back there. He's standing with his heels about 6 inches from the out-of-bounds line.
Be interesting to see if the Tigers try and bring some heat here or just play the field position game. Looks like they're going position.
Good punt by Connor Drew, taken by Trey Hansen at the 45-yard line. Going to go up the middle. Did I see a flag come flying in, or was that the beanbag? Nope. Now we got about 4 flags coming in. That's generally not a good sign for the return team when you see that many flags, but we'll let the officials sort it out. I think it was the beanbag that I saw the official throw, not the. They mark that where they catch the punt. Can they call that on Ballard? Well, they're clapping. We'll see here. Sometimes we get premature and we kind of guess, but we'll see.
And now we're pointing the other way.
I think that's going to be on the Tigers. So they would have the ball at about the 30.
I couldn't think of a infraction unless it'd be like a unsportsmanlike in the middle if it would have been on the kicking team.
Tigers would have had it at the 32. We'll see what the call is. Now they're picking up numerous penalty flags on the field. I haven't seen the call from the White Hat yet. Got a block in the back on the Tigers.
Still good field position. I mean, you're still
it's in Ballard territory.
Yeah, in Ballard territory at about the 42. 10:07 left here in the first quarter. Little score update. The Bombers struck first on a 2-yard TD run from Nate Nessa, and a 28-yard field goal gave us our score here from Jack Dresser here in the first quarter, 6-3. Nice little run there. Is that Carson Johnson?
It was. No, I think it was Veazey.
Sorry, it was Veazey. My bad.
It's all right.
Kind of picked that up late. Gain of about 8 there. So, again, that really opens up the playbook on second down. You're probably in 4-down territory, I would think, right here.
Pickup of 8.
Yep.
All of a sudden, my phone started broadcasting the game, and I could hear myself talking, which is
well, it was just shocking that there was any sound coming from our broadcast.
Well, so far, so good. Henningsen got up under center most of the night. They're going to go a quick hit now to Cooper Hearn. He's going to bowl forward. He'll have the first down right at the chain at the 32.
Looks like the forward progress, like you said, is either going to give it to him or be darn close.
So they haven't stopped the clock like they've moving the chains yet. So they're going to mark it actually.
Sure. Yeah, he's going to take a look. And we are going to measure.
I think the official on the far side kind of lost track of what was that, because I said where he was standing was clearly, when he first marked it, was a first down. Actually, now they're going to measure the most exciting play in high school football, the measurement.
You know what that means, though? It means there's time for some more Raccoon background knowledge. Oh.
Troy, bad news, though. There might be problems with the sound, because somebody said we sound really, really good in stereo in their garage.
Oh.
Which means it's probably something wrong.
Well, we'll start checking the audio then.
So tell us more about raccoons as we measure.
Well, there was actually once a pet raccoon in the White House.
Let me see if I can figure out. I'm going to say Teddy Roosevelt.
Right era. A little bit later.
Millard Fillmore.
You're going the wrong way.
Gerald Ford.
That's too far. Too far.
Go ahead. Just give it to me.
Roaring 20s. Give you the hint. Stay cool with Calvin Coolidge. Calvin Coolidge is. They actually were planning on having a Thanksgiving dinner with a raccoon. It was actually more of a culinary treat, and we'll come back to this story after the play.
Okay. Henningsen will give the fake it to Griner. He's going to give it under Veazey. There's a flag on the play. Thrown right at the point of attack, usually thrown in the area of holding. We'll see if I'm right. I always guess because I'm always wrong. So did they? So you're saying they ate the raccoon?
They were planning on it, but Calvin's wife Rebecca decided that it was cute, and it soon became a family pet. And they got an engraved collar for Christmas. It became a part of the Easter egg roll ritual, and from there,
Well, Rebecca, you're taking care of the coon if you want to keep it. That's how it usually goes, isn't it?
Taking care of the raccoon. And
legal motion on the Tigers. That's really rare that you'd see that thrown from the umpire position, but the head linesman on the far side also threw it. So that's going to back up the Tigers, bring up 1st and 15.
So there you go.
Wow.
We've had
Calvin Coolidge and his wife Rebecca spared
Rebecca. I got to see. Is there a name for the raccoon? Does anybody care? Probably not.
I do.
Yeah.
Henningsen will work out of the shotgun now. He's going to send Blake Griner in motion. Griner will go with the far side of the screen. Now they're going to option it left to Veazey. Boy, Veazey about got brought down at the point of attack. Slips out of a tackle. Is going to get brought down. Maybe get a yard. Maybe not. Maybe lose a yard. But he could have lost more than that.
Apologies to Calvin Coolidge's wife. It's not her name. That's Rebecca. It was the raccoon's
Well, this is awkward. So hopefully none of the
Coolidge family. Coolidge family, my apologies.
Hey, I don't know if we've said that. It's homecoming tonight. They're going to crown a homecoming queen at halftime. And we'll bring that to you. Chad's going to put the camera down there, and we'll find out who it is.
God, I hope we don't have anybody that's named Rebecca in the homecoming camp. It would be embarrassing. Just kidding.
Botched that.
Just kidding. We botched that.
Henningsen will drop straight back looking to throw. Looks like they had a screen set up. It kind of got blown up. Henningsen getting chased from behind. Finds a receiver out in the flat. And they're going to get the Tigers for another holding infraction, I believe. It's thrown in that area by the line judge over here.
Yeah, it is another holding call.
Yeah, Hawthorne caught it. Got about 3 yards. So this isn't really going to matter much because they're going to sure push the Tigers back another 10 yards.
That's an interesting conundrum, though, because you could put them at 3rd and 13.
Or
keep moving
2nd and,
back.
That's
It'll be interesting to see what Ballard does here. It's probably not going to affect their punting field position too much if you.
Yeah, it is going to be holding on the Tigers. They are going to move it back.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 2nd and Jamie Lenz holding the down marker over there. So this is about the distance from Jamie Lenz's house to my house, right down School Street. Kind of winds around by the Sneeziks there. And I wonder who else we have on the on the chain gang crew. But the Tigers are, just like Ballard, kind of going the wrong direction on this drive. We'll see if we got a big play in the playbook here. Henningsen's got 3 receivers wide right, 1 to the bottom of the screen. Henningsen, a little pressure, is going to roll out.
He's
now
got had somebody deep.
He's going to get pulled down, and we're going to lose another 15 yards. So Tigers now at 3rd and 2 miles. We'll see if, I don't know if you'd punt here or just try to take a chance down the field. I'm sure Ballard's defenders are all been instructed to. Oh, you wouldn't want to knock it down. You want to intercept it because I don't know that Tanner Henningsen could throw it as far as the first down. Not many high school quarterbacks could on the fly.
In Madden, this was always a draw or a screenplay.
Jody Chick wants to know if we will keep the video rolling at halftime. It's homecoming, Chad. Sorry, you're not going to get it. I can come over and run it, too, if you want me to. So 44 yards for a first down. They're going to give it to Veazey, and he's going to lose 2 more yards. So the Tigers have had about 1 positive yardage play on this, and it was called back because of a penalty. The Tigers are going to have to kick. It's going to be 4th and 46 yards. That might be some sort of record in my broadcast career, 4th and 46.
This is where he dropped the fake.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've talked about that a little bit because Veazey sometimes will roll out and rugby kick it here, but don't think he'll be rugby kicking it on this play.
Yeah, I would guess not. That was completely in jest.
So Ballard has set up their return guy right at the original line to gain, the beginning one, not the first down marker. Veazey will kick it. End over end kick's going to be fair caught right at the 40-yard line, 41-yard line. So all things considered, the Tigers kind of get out of that. I don't know what he said. Doesn't seem horribly important. So just a disastrous set of downs there for the Tigers. They're going to lose. That'd be basically turning it over on downs without getting even getting a yard on first down is where they're going to end up getting it, right at the 40-yard line. So 6:14 to play in the first half. Tigers trail 6-3. I believe the Ballard led Gilbert 6-3 in baseball at some point last summer. That's kind of a baseball score. 3 wide receivers to the right for Connor Drew, the quarterback, big lanky number 5. He's going to give it underneath to Donovan Bertrand, but he is thumped by Nolan Mueller.
Yeah, huge shout out to the line and linebacker crew. That man, after that first drive, they've just been phenomenal, and Ballard's had nothing going, really running at all.
Caden Meskin, 99, we call his name a lot. Aiden Carr also out there as a linebacker with Mueller, and now Cooper Hearn has kind of dropped back to a free safety position. 2nd and 10. Going to give it on a reverse. Tigers had it sniffed out really well, and they're going to pull down Mason Murphy. He got it on the end around, and he went nowhere. He's going to get thrown to the ground.
Yeah,
Cooper Hearn out there. Jake Steenhook had also given chase. You know what Jake Steenhook chasing you. That's what I know. I'm going to guess he chased his brother Cole over a drumstick or 2 at the dinner table. Mom gets him out of the oven, and the Steenhook boys go after. Could you imagine what that was probably like? She probably just throw the food onto the table and just run.
Carnage.
The Steenhook boys just tear that meat apart. So Connor Drew now will face a 3rd and 11. Murphy comes in motion. I believe the Bombers jumped. I looked down at my roster and looked back up, and the flag was thrown, so I'm going to assume it was a false start. I don't assume correctly very often, Troy, but I was right on that one. It is a false start, moving back 5 more yards. So both teams' offense is kind of sputtering on the last 2 drives, last 3 drives. Ballard's last drive, inside started at their own 6 and lost 2 yards, or 4 yards, and then ended up having to punt.
Hey, don't let me forget, I've got a few shout-outs from Stacy with the volleyball team, Stacy Johnson and Mrs. Koutman. And
we'll get to those here.
I'll speak for Aaron and I for the really well sniffed out there, too. Holy cow.
That was Mueller and Hearn. Both put a lick on, I think that was Bertrand. Blaine Herman, excuse me. They'd set up a screen, and that got blown up, as the youngsters say.
And they timed up the contact absolutely perfectly right when the ball got there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'd love to talk about our fantastic cross-country and volleyball teams. You coach the boys cross-country team.
I help. I try not to screw things up is really my role. But no, it's we got homecoming this weekend. Everybody thinks it's the football game, but we've got really good volleyball seasons and cross-country seasons and all those sorts of things going on too.
So Drew with a nice high spiral pushes Trey Hansen way back to about the 17-yard line. He slips, gets up, breaks out of a tackle. He's got some room to run, cuts back, got another guy to beat.
He doesn't have
lost
a shoe.
His shoe. He's going to finally get tackled. Bounces off another tackle. Well, that's the best return we've seen all year.
That was
Tanner
a
and
heck of a
Tyler,
job.
you'd be proud of your brother. That one ran out of his shoe at the 27, gets all the way to the 45, and a nifty return.
That was fantastic.
Trey Hansen.
Even to field that kick and prevent it from going, because that thing's probably inside the 10-yard line. It's probably inside the 10-yard line if he doesn't field that, just to catch it, and then
lost his balance. Got up, broke several tackles, cutbacks. Really nice, nifty return there by Trey Hansen.
Really a phenomenal job.
And lost his, well, it was funny, he's wearing flip-flops. That might be why his shoe came off. I don't know. That, I don't even think you're supposed to wear those in the game.
Well, I told him not to wear the Croc athletic football shoes. But
so VC runs up the middle. He's going to get 8 or 9 yards. So that play there eclipses the total yards we had on the last series. Really? Shouldn't joke around about that. That was kind of an unusual series where we lost 40-some yards or 30-some yards.
But here's the thing is that they responded, though. I mean, the defense, that can be a disheartening thing. The defense did their job. Trey Hansen does his job and gets a terrific return, and then suddenly you get 9 yards and first down, and you got some things going on suddenly. You
only got about 6, but it looked like 9.
Yeah.
Because 9 would be better, but we'll take the 6. Greiner goes in motion.
Why you got to be a downer?
Vizio will take the ball up the middle. He's pushing forward. He's going to get close to a first down, but
see, honestly, what I was doing was adding the first 2 runs together, which equaled 9 yards. And now it's 3rd and 1. See, if you would have let me just complete the whole thought process, then I would have gotten.
Ball's at the 46, 3:40 to go in the first half. The clock is rolling. The Tigers trail Ballard 6-3. Ballard scored on their first possession. They got a touchdown on a 2-yard run. The point after try was botched. The snap was bad. That left it at 6-0. The Tigers answered with a Jack Dresser 29-yard field goal. Ballard jumped but didn't get in the neutral zone. They're going to turn to VZ, and he's going to have some room to run. He'll sled onto the turf at about the 42. Tigers went on a long count. Ballard did jump but didn't enter the neutral zone. I'm actually looking right down about the 46, and that's where they were at. Good no call by the officials.
Yeah. I know there were some people in our crowd that were a little tart about that, but But eyes of an eagle with Mr. Becker here said no encroachment.
They're giving it underneath to Cooper Hearn. He's going to bowl forward. Cooper's hit at about the 40. Might get shoved back, but they're going to mark it at the 40. So we do those ISO plays with our fullbacks just to try to get some positive yardage. We get 2 on first down. You'd like to get 3 or 4 on first down, but we'll take it to bring up 2nd and 8. Clock's rolling at 2:45 to play in the first half. 6-3 on a beautiful night from Tiger Stadium on homecoming. Ballard Bombers are in town. Kind of a new rivalry now that we're moving to that conference and stuff. I'm sure we'll develop that rivalry with the Bombers.
Yeah, it's always kind of felt like a rivalry to me anyway, even though we weren't in the same conference, but this will be.
Henningsen with the play-action pass. That was kind of thrown out in the area of no one. He did get hit when he threw, and I think the officials are going to give him the benefit of that. But Greiner was out there, and I think that's who he was trying to get it to. But Henningsen with a little play action and got a lot of pressure from behind and got hit. So that'll stop the clock, 2:25 to play in the first half. Ball's at the 40, 3rd and 7, 8, 3rd and 8 on Raccoon River Trivia Night. Got some comments on the comment section of YouTube.
Yep, the chat section.
Generally not favorable. I'm going to just say it. Not favorable comments on raccoons.
Well,
it's fair though. You don't have to like it. It is our conference, whether you like raccoons or not.
But there's some more positive things to come about the intelligence of raccoons. They are highly intelligent animals.
Henningsen rolls to the left, throws it downfield. He had Greiner out there in the flat, throws it over his head.
This will be an interesting decision here for the Tigers. You're at the 40-yard line, 2:22 left in the first quarter. So do you try and go into halftime, pin them deep, or do you go for it here and try and take the lead before halftime?
Looks like we are going to see Morgan Smith's first punt of the night. 83 is Morgan Smith, and he's on the field. We've seen VZ handle the punting duties up to this point. Morgan Smith, who kicked very well last week, he really did a nice job. Tigers look like they have some personnel issues. They don't have the right number of players on the field. Now Cooper Hearn's going to come in. I think having Trey Hansen hurt on your punt team has kind of messed things up. So Hearn's going to handle that job now. He'll come in motion. Timing on that did not look good, but Morgan Smith with a good punt is going to bounce. Or actually, I was off a little bit. Inside the 20, and that's good enough. We keep him down there with 2:17 to go. We want to make him go 80 yards or so. Let's see where they put it.
And we're still walking.
And 19-yard line. Good call, Troy. I have to look through kind of a column here that holds the press box, and as I look, the
not a transparent column either.
It's not. So at halftime, don't go away. We're going to have the coronation ceremony. I've got a favorite on the court, but I'm not going to say because I want to be a neutral, unbiased broadcaster.
A lot of good kids always every year.
There is.
Every year there's a lot of good kids represented. And this year is no exception.
So I can't imagine Ballard's just going to take a knee and go into halftime here. They're going to try to move the ball down the field. Drew will take the snap. He'll keep it this time. But the Tigers have kind of solved that problem. Jake Steenhook's going to put a bear hug on Connor Drew and put him on the turf. Ballard's going to huddle up, so they're not running no huddle with two minutes to play.
Yep. They do have 3 timeouts. The Tigers have 2, and that'll be another interesting thing here is that if you get a good stop here, you have the Tigers maybe considering taking a timeout, save a little clock, and try and make something happen too. So a little chess match probably going on here in the last minute 50.
Looks like Trey Hansen back on the field now on defense. He was come up a little lame on that punt return. Give underneath on a draw play to Herman, I believe. Blaine Herman takes the carry. Got a good head of steam, but the Tigers are going to pull him down. I think Anderson will be in there, 33, Joshua Anderson. I think it's Joshua Anderson. He's a kid that I don't think he went to middle school here, so he's a mystery man to me. I've never met him. You haven't met him, Joshua Anderson?
I don't think so, no. And now you got a 3rd and 4. Neither team is really too anxious to take their timeouts because you're kind of in no man's land here for both teams.
Yeah, Ballard not in a big hurry here. They're just kind of running as regular. They're going to run a quarterback keeper again. I think Drew's going to get a first down. He needed to get to the 29. He's going to get to the 30. That will move the chains. A minute to go in the first half. Still not seeing what you'd see if they were going to try to score here. I think they're just content getting the first down.
I would think you would take a timeout there if you were really going to go after it. But you do have, obviously, the clock stoppage with and they do hurry up a little bit. So just under a minute now to go.
We're going to send
long ways to go, though.
Yeah, 3 wide receivers to the top of the screen. Cooper Hearn, Carson Johnson, and Tony Toronis out on that part of the field. Herman's going to throw, it looks like maybe a double pass or they got a receiver. They'd set up a double pass or a wide receiver screen, and the Tigers bid on it.
Yep.
That let a receiver go open down the screen. That was a really well-designed play by Ballard. Now they will call a timeout with 42 seconds. So they'd set up and kind of faked either a double pass or wide receiver screen to the top of your screen.
Yeah, good gain there. Got to the Tiger 39-yard line. So
Sam Peterson had broke loose on that and took off, and Drew just threw a dart to him. A really well-thrown ball, and Tigers' defensive back scrambled and recovered. That could have very easily been a touchdown, Troy, and we'll see how this rest of this first half plays out.
So we'll take a quick break from
talk about the teams.
Raccoon info and go to Stacy Johnson's volleyball team this year. The Tigers are currently ranked number 11 in 4A and are sitting at a mark of 21-6, which has already tied last season's record. Out of the 6 losses, 5 were to ranked teams. They've also been beaten several ranked teams along the way. And then tomorrow they play in Boone, and we'll play Ames, number 6 Waverly Shell Rock in 4A, and Forest City in pool play. And we'll most likely see Ankeny and Clarion Goldfield for bracket play. So girls are playing better and working hard to be better each game. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson, for all you've done for volleyball this year.
So back to the action now. The clock is at 42.3 seconds. Drew's going to take the snap. Steps up in the pocket, slips through a couple tackles, but he's going to be right down at the 35. We'll see if Ballard calls another timeout, and they do. Speaking of Stacy Johnson, her son, Mitchell, her oldest boy.
Yeah.
You got Hank, the younger boy. This is Mitchell. I was bringing that suitcase, and that thing weighs conservatively 375 pounds.
At least.
So I'm wheeling it up. It's got wheels on it, thank goodness, because I'll be 51 here in a few weeks. I'm kind of old and fragile. And there's Mitchell Johnson standing there, and I was like, hey, Mitchell, before I could even get it out, picks up the suitcase, lugs it up 46 steps for me.
34 seconds.
So thanks to Mitchell Johnson, Stacy Johnson's son, carried it up here, and I didn't have to do it. I'm sure the broadcast is going to be way better now that I'm not as tired as I would have been.
Probably.
So the boys team, tell us about that real quick. We got just a few seconds as we come out of the break here.
The boys cross-country team, we're having a good year again, ranked currently number 4 in Class 3A. Had a really good meet last week at the Heartland Invitational and beat at the time that was the current number 1 ranked team in 3A. So it's been a fun season, and we've got about just a couple more weeks to go here before the end of the year. Good for you guys.
All right, Drew will take the snap at the 40. Now they are going to try to mark up the scoreboard. They're going to throw a long pass down the sideline. He's got a receiver out there. Doggone it, he caught it. That was Sam Peterson. You can't throw a ball much better than that, Troy.
That was one of the best passes and catches as far as like hitting somebody in stride that I've seen in high school. That just went up in the air, and he had a step or two on the D-back and just right into the breadbasket, so couldn't have drawn that up any better. That was a beautiful, phenomenal throw.
So 35-yard touchdown pass from Connor Drew to Sam Peterson. They're going to come on and try to kick it. They're not going to chase that extra point around. Low snap again. This one's better, and I think this one's going to go through, and it does. That's 34 Connor Utley that kicked that. Utley with the PAT to make the score 13-3. So the Tigers' defense had really done. The Tigers will receive to start the second half. Is that what you're saying? Who caught it? Sam Peterson, number 11, was the receiver on that long touchdown. So I'm just saying you really can't throw a ball much better than that. We tip our hat to the Bombers. They acted kind of like they were content with kind of going in, and then all of a sudden they had the one long pass to Peterson that got him down around the 30, and then went right back to him on that one. And that was just a simple sprint to the end zone, and Peterson came out on top. That'll take Ballard to 13-3. BC Moore Power Rankings had the Ballard Bombers 11-point favorites in tonight's game. Of course, that's statistical. It's unbiased, raw data. There's no they didn't know
a betting spread.
No, they're like Tucker Hansen. They didn't know Tucker Hansen was hurt. And the spread might have been a little bigger if that was like a Las Vegas spread. Could send Tanner Hansen, Trey's brother, out, see if there is a line on this game in Vegas. I doubt it. Doesn't seem like likely that high school sports is allowed to be gambled on.
I bet you that never happens.
So high kick, left side of the field. Carson Johnson will pull that in at the 10. He's going to go to the right side. Johnson is going to get wrestled to the ground about the 22-yard line. The Tigers will have the ball with 23.6 seconds to go in the first half.
So as we rotate, I'll hit our last sport that I have some information on from Coach Kottman on the girls' side. Showed steady improvement as the season has progressed. Ran two pretty tough courses, technical courses early, but used those races to build on. And they raced in Humboldt this last week with several ranked teams, and they came away champions of that in both the varsity and the JV. And some individual things. Sophie Vanderpool finished 5th in that. Allison Weiler, a senior, was 10th. Cameron Ogden, 20th. And then in the JV, you had Ellie Madsen at 2nd. Mary Thatcher, 3rd. Callista Lenners, 4th. Rachel Sens, 7th. Ava Johnson, 8th. Josie Messenbrink, 12th, and had 7 in the top 15. Race again in Nevada on Tuesday.
Tigers are rushing to get this play off. The play clock expired right after the snap. Henningsen will throw. He's got Trey Hansen open at the 30. Breaks a tackle. Going to go around the right side. Got a little bit more room to run. He's going to probably end up getting run out of bounds, and he is about the 43. But good catch and run by Trey Hansen. So 15.2 seconds to go.
He really did a good job of turning what looked into a short gain into a pretty good, but close to 15, 20-yarder there.
And he got out of bounds. He was in the middle of the field.
Yep.
Went to the far sideline, but got out of bounds and probably, even though it took him time to get over there, probably saved the Tigers a timeout. So they have all, let's see, they have 2 of their 3 timeouts. They got 2 timeouts left here in the first half. We'll have the coronation ceremony at halftime. We'll announce who the big winners are. Henningsen will drop back and throw it way down the right sideline. He's got Drew Hawthorne out there. It's going to be intercepted by Sam Peterson, the 23-yard line. Pretty good throw, but really just a little bit behind Drew Hawthorne, and Peterson stepped in front of it.
And he had safety help over the top there, so then that's a huge difference. And not only do you have the cornerback, who I think Drew did have a step on and probably could have made a play, but Peterson was able to jump in front of that. But nothing hurt. I mean, that's you're taking a huge shot down the field. You're basically the equivalent of what a punt would be there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. And I think nothing else. It showed you Tanner Henningsen can air it out. That was across the field, probably threw that 40 yards, 50 yards across the field.
Well-thrown ball.
Yeah.
Did you carry the one?
Yes.
Nice
on
job.
my abacus. I think the Raccoon Trivia has been very popular with our listeners tonight. We got a lot of.
Well, it's a hot topic. It's a hot topic right now. And then what's the history behind the conference? What's the history behind the name of the conference?
Delay a game on the Bombers.
We talked about Ballard Creek. Yeah. The Raccoon River is actually a river.
Yeah. Yep, big river.
Yeah.
Ends up going in Des Moines, kind of comes from
There's several different branches of it. Did you ever notice that? Like driving around that area, there's like the north, the west, the south, the east, the northwest east branch of the Raccoon.
Well, I'm very familiar with the Raccoon River. And I'm even more so familiar tonight on Raccoon River, Raccoon Trivia Night. So Drew will run it underneath. It's going to be to, I think that was 26, Blaine Herman. 2.3 seconds.
The
yeah.
last play.
Well, unless Ballard calls a timeout, this will be the last play because I don't think they get a
there.
snap off in time.
Looks as though they're content to walk.
They called a timeout.
They did call a timeout. I'm horrible at that timeout game tonight. Not going well.
Ballard's head coach by Corey Vespestad and Kyle Howard. They have co-head coaches. Matt Harrison, Scott Edwards, Ethan Hochul, Gavin Crandall, TJ Trow, Andy Richardson, who's a Gilbert alum, and Wes Dietrich, who used to coach on the Gilbert staff with Scott Otter many years ago.
Trent, did you know that raccoon populations have exploded in the past several decades? Despite the fact that most of their natural habitat has been destroyed. Part of that is because raccoons are very adaptable and adaptable enough to thrive in rural, urban, and suburban environments. They'll eat things like birds, insects, fruits, and nuts while in the forest. And as some of our listeners have mentioned, if they're in residential areas, they'll just eat garbage and pet food.
They're also big fans. I saw one at Chick-fil-A in the drive-up the other day, waiting to get his order.
Yeah, well, he must take that eat more chicken
Yes.
advertisement to heart.
So 3 wide receivers to the right here. I'm going to guess Ballard's going to throw this down the field. And they are. A little pressure, and they're going to bring him down. That was Nolan Mueller with the sack, and that will be the last play. Kind of an arduous last few minutes of first half here. Stick around. Halftime score is 13-3. The Ballard Bombers lead your Gilbert Tigers here on homecoming night 2019. Under the Sea, I believe, is the theme. Is that correct?
That's
Under
right.
The Sea. Is that kind of like the Under the Sea, Little Mermaid?
I'm
That the
guessing,
kids did the
yeah. I haven't seen Ariel or any of the Sebastian or any of those around. We did that musical last
Brendan
year.
O'Brien could have went out there.
Brendan O'Brien.
What's his name? The Flounder, the little fish.
Flounder,
Very cute
and
little
we
fish.
had Zach Kramer could have gone out.
Oh, Sebastian. He should have won probably a Tony Award for that.
Yeah.
Sebastian, very popular.
That was a great job, as Mrs. Beecher always does. She's got a show coming up that we should probably mention as well.
Oh, yeah.
The Music Man.
The Music Man.
The Music Man, which
From Mason City is where that was originated.
Around my area. My wife and I, we were married not at Music Man Square, but we had our reception at Music Man Square in Mason City. She's a huge fan of the Music Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
There's trouble that starts with T. So does Troy.
That's you got trouble. Right here in
River City.
Gilbert.
Right here in
Press booth in Gilbert.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be like maybe some convertibles come rolling by. There's going to be girls in there and get out. That's kind of how they do it. I don't know. I don't even know who the candidates are. I'm so bad. I don't have any idea. I don't work at the high school, so I've kind of lost touch with all that. But
I saw a few, but I really don't know. I saw them last night after the parade, but I didn't take good enough inventory to see if I knew everybody.
Jen Schnormeyer's got the roster right there. Maybe she'd share that with us.
Jen Schnormeyer, do you have the roster of the people so we can name off the candidates? Yes. It's on the program.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So you want to go ahead? You read them.
You want row one?
Okay, I'll do row one.
I'll do
the
row
girls.
two.
So for the girls, you got Janaea Battles, who I know really well. You got Lydia Burns-Schweingruber, Eva Anderson, Jordan Millhouse, Amy Taylor, Isabel Johnson. That's a pretty good crew right there. How about the guys? I bet it's pretty good.
The guys, these are some of my favorite guys. Joshua Anderson, Drew Hawthorne, Ethan Newell, Nathan Patel, Jack Dresser, and Drew Hatfield.
Oh, what a delightful group of kids.
Yeah.
It's too bad that there's going to be losers in that. Or not losers, but there's going to be somebody that doesn't win. That sounded kind of bad.
Did you just go to Ricky?
I did.
Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's too bad somebody has to lose that competition because they're all very deserving and wonderful kids and
great people.
The Gilbert High Marching Band is going to take the field. So we might hear some band first. If we do that, we'll stop talking. Chad can just widen out, get a good shot of the band. We'll let them play, and then we'll come back on when they do the announcement because people like to listen to the band. We learned that. We talk over them. People get cranky as they should. So I'm going to take my headset off, point the microphone out towards the field so you can listen to the band for a little bit.
Milroy's Tuxedos for the donation of the tuxes the boys are wearing tonight. And a big thank you to Kohl's for the lovely flowers. Finally, thank you to Deary Brothers for the use of their cars during the parade yesterday. And now we would like to introduce our homecoming court. Eva Anderson is the daughter of Kevin and Suzanne Anderson.
And so now we are to the point where we're looking at the homecoming court that's coming out. Eva Anderson is coming out right now.
Eva Anderson. Battles is the daughter of Joe and June Battles. Janaea has one brother.
Janaea Battles is the next one you'll see on your screen.
Janaea's favorite high school activity is soccer because of the great memories the sport brings and how she loves Coach Jones's pep talks before games and during practices. Janaea has lettered in basketball, cross country, and soccer. She has also received an academic letter and was recognized as a Lions Club Academic Excellence and Volunteer Award winner. Janaea is a member of National Honor Society, was a state officer for FCCLA, was president of the Gilbert FCCLA chapter, and has been on student council throughout high school. Janaea's favorite high school memory is freshman year basketball when she got called for fouling her own teammate, Haley Hadley. Janaea most admires her parents because of how much they sacrificed, their bravery, and how strong they've been for Janaea when she went through 3 ACL tears and surgeries. Janaea's future plans are to attend Northwestern in Orange City to play soccer and major in kinesiology, then attend either the University of Iowa or Des Moines Medical School to become a physical therapist. Janaea Battles.
And now Lydia Burns-Steingruber.
Lydia has one sibling, Chloe, and you're an 8th grader. Lydia's favorite high school activity is track because of the fun memories with teammates. Lydia has lettered in cross country, basketball, and track, is a member of National Honor Society, was selected to the All-State Orchestra, and is the current school record holder for the long jump. Lydia's favorite high school memory is pranking Coach Kalman with a dead rabbit's foot at state track. Lydia most admires her younger sister, Chloe, because she is the nicest person Lydia knows. After GHS graduation, Lydia will be attending college to become an elementary teacher. Lydia Burns-Steingruber. Isabella Mae Johnson is the daughter of Chris and Alicia Johnson.
Isabel Johnson.
Isabel has 2 siblings, Ava and Grant, both Gilbert students. During high school, Isabel has most enjoyed volleyball and soccer because of the friends and memories she has made along the way. Isabel's favorite high school memories are the Pitt State volleyball camp and soccer practices. She most admires her parents because they are compassionate and hard workers. After graduation, Isabel plans to attend a 4-year university. Isabel Johnson. Jordan Nicole Millhouse is the daughter of Nick and Bridget Millhouse.
Jordan Millhouse be the next one on your screen.
A student at ISU. Jordan's favorite activity in high school has been track because of the lifelong friendships with the girls and her home doggies. Jordan has been a member of National Honor Society and Student Council, as well as a varsity team member for basketball, track, and cross country. She has also been named Academic All-Conference, been on the honor roll, and competed in the Heart of Iowa Art Festival. Jordan's favorite high school memory was freshman year track. Jordan most admires Britta Ray Snyder because the dedication Britta has to improving herself are evident by her tan lines. Next fall, Jordan plans to attend the University of Iowa to study biology. Jordan Millhouse. Amy Rose Taylor is the daughter of Jeff and Shelley Taylor.
Amy Teller is next up on your screen.
Amy has one sibling, Jason, who is a student at the Colorado School of Mines. Amy's favorite high school activity has been soccer because they are not only a team, they are a giant family goofballs with amazing coaches and parents. Amy is the current webmaster of the Key Club, is the FFA secretary, and is a member of National Honor Society. Amy's favorite high school memory is winning the first state soccer game and then getting to watch Coach Jones belly flop in the hotel pool. Amy most admires her mom because she is one of the funniest, kindest, and most hardworking people Amy knows. She is also one of Amy's best friends and gives the most amazing hugs. Amy plans to attend ISU to double major in animal science and global resource systems. Amy Taylor. Andrew Christopher Hatfield is the son of Jason and Tara Honish and Mark Hatfield.
And now to the boys. This is Drew Hatfield.
Drew's favorite high school memory is golf because it was 2 months of free golf. Drew feels honored to be the leader of the GHS student section. During high school, Drew's favorite memories have been making memes with the boys, #Saturdays are for the boys. Drew most admires Elon Musk because he is making a difference in the world. Drew's future plans are to move to Arizona with the boys and pursue a career in real estate. Drew Hatfield. Nathan Matthew Patel is the son of Kevin and Christy Patel.
Nathan Patel.
Nathan has one sister, Abby, a student at Gilbert. Nathan's favorite high school activity has been cross country because of his great teammates, great coaches, and the fun memories he has made with them. Nathan has been a 2-time All-State cross-country runner and a 2-time team state champion. He is also qualified for the state track meet. Nathan is a member of National Honor Society and Student Council and is treasurer of the Key Club. Nathan's favorite high school memory is winning back-to-back team championships in cross-country. He most admires his parents for all the sacrifices they make for him, and specifically, he is grateful for his mom's dedication to packing his lunch every day. Next year, Nathan will be studying either mechanical engineering or mathematics at a 4-year university. Nathan Patel. Joshua Stephen Anderson is the son of Steve and Carol Anderson. He has 2 siblings, Ingrid, a student at Carroll College, and Ethan, a Gilbert freshman. Josh's favorite high school activity has been football because he likes how the sport creates mental toughness as well as physical toughness. Josh has received an Academic All-Conference Award, the Gilbert Lions Club Volunteer Service Award, the New Ulm Rotary Club Athletic and Academic Award, and the Charger Football Award. A memory that sticks out to Josh is last year's homecoming celebration. Josh most admires his parents for all the hard work they do and have done to make him into the person he is today. Josh's future plans are to attend college for either engineering or business. Josh Anderson.
Josh Anderson.
Jack Kyle Dresser is the son of Kevin and Penny Dresser.
This will be Jack Dresser.
Has 2 siblings, Emma and Anna, both students at ISU. Jack's favorite high school activities have been basketball and soccer because he has met a lot of great people and made memories that will last a lifetime. Jack's major accomplishment is being the 2-time school ping pong champion. The memory that stands out for Jack is when Jonah Hillman stuck cheese to the wall in the comments. Jack most admires his parents because they raised him to be the exquisite young man he is today. Jack's future plans are to attend ISU and study something in the life sciences field. Jack Dresser. Drew Gregory Hawthorne is the son of Greg and Amy Hawthorne.
Drew Hawthorne is the next one that'll show up on your screen here.
Both Gilbert students. Drew's favorite activity in high school has been football because nothing is better than getting to play under the Friday night lights with his friends. During high school, Drew has been involved with National Honor Society, Student Council, is president of the Key Club, is a captain for the football team, has medaled in the state swimming meet, has been on the honor roll, lettered in football, swimming, and track, and most importantly, was the champion of the 9th grade toothpick tower competition. Drew's favorite high school memory is rocking the bus with the track team after winning a meet. Drew most admires his parents because they have both been great role models in his life and have loved and supported him through everything. After graduation, Drew plans on attending a 4-year university and majoring in biology. Drew Hawthorne. Ethan Ryan Newell is the son of
And
Ryan
lastly,
and Julie Newell.
Ethan
has
Newell.
one sibling, Eli, a Gilbert sophomore. Ethan's favorite high school activity has been football because of the intense atmosphere and the teamwork needed to achieve a common goal. Ethan has lettered in football and track. He has also run at the state track meet and Drake relays. Ethan is a representative for the Bankers Trust Youth Board and has been on the honor roll. Ethan's favorite high school memory is running in the 4x1 at the state track meet his sophomore year. Ethan most admires his parents because they taught him to see the positive in all situations. After graduation, Ethan plans on attending either Iowa or Iowa State. Ethan Newell. We would like to welcome back last year's king, Kyle Grossnickel, who will be crowning this year's king and queen.
And so now Kyle Grossnickel will help crown this year's king and queen, did they say? Both?
The 2019 homecoming queen is Amy Taylor.
Amy Taylor is your homecoming queen this year. Congratulations to Amy.
It's good to see Kyle Grossnickel dressed up for the event.
And Ethan Newell is the 2019 homecoming king. Congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, what
Again, all great people. Congratulations, especially to Amy and Nathan. They will now ride off in a chariot to Disney World.
Yes.
While birds and squirrels and raccoons.
Amy Taylor keeps losing her crown. It's kind of a breezy night down
It
on
is
the
a breezy
field.
night, yes.
I don't think they like pre-fit you for that to make sure it
Probably
fits,
not.
stuff like that. But
There's no fitting.
Amy Taylor's a kid that I think I was her bus driver for a couple years. It seems like I had like 6,000 kids in my bus because I've said that about a lot of kids. But
Well, I think you guys do have about
We do.
6,000
We do
kids on
have-
your routes.
but Amy's an awesome kid. Know her parents really well. We know them well enough that we get to go fish off their dock at their little pond behind their house a lot. Not
That's-
dropping names.
That's
but
helpful.
Jeff Taylor and it's funny that she mentioned her mom and how funny she is because she is. I don't know if you know Shelly Taylor, but she's really is a really funny.
My wife
very,
Jana
very
knows her a
friendly.
little more than I do.
One of the
know
most
her.
pleasant, kind people you'll know. Whenever we go down there fishing, she'll come down and visit with the kids. And so congratulations to Amy and Ethan, all the whole court. Some good kids out there getting together for the big picture. Steve Hastett and Deb Gray do a lot of work photographing events here. It looks like the band's probably going to play another song, would be my guess. Looks like it anyway.
Well, we got a minute 14 left, so I don't know if that's going to work out or what
Maybe they're just holding their position. Oh, they were the kind of the tunnel, so maybe
They were the
that's-
tunnel, yes.
so they get off the field. I don't see. It looks like the Tigers team is gathered on the north end zone, as well as the officiating crew. They do allow a little extra time on homecoming night. They understand that.
Yeah.
So as soon as the court gets out of the way, I think Byron Tinder is going to blow his whistle, and the band will scurry off the field down to their south end zone location. And this weekend's activities will culminate tomorrow night. There's a big dance. Do they have that out at the Prairie Moon?
Ooh,
Is that
boy,
here? Do they do it here? I don't know.
you're asking the wrong man. Well, they decorated the commons, so I assume they have
They have the dance
the
here.
dance here. Yeah. That is my assumption for the decorating I saw.
It's good to see Kyle Grossnickel. I believe he's a part of the Iowa State University marching band, the varsity marching
That would
band.
be that would be fantastic as well. They do a good job.
I think we've got 7, 8, 9 kids maybe on the
Yeah.
on the Iowa State marching band, and that's hard to do. It's not like you don't just show up and go, I got a banjo or I got a pick harp or something. You're in the band. You got to like try out and you got to show some proclivity to marching bands.
Yep. For sure. And they put in a lot of hard work.
They do. Oh, could you imagine? I mean, I'm watching them march around in formation. Like, how do they do that? How do
Yeah.
they know where to go?
Yep.
Well, there's some kind of plan. So they put 3 minutes on the clock to warm things up here. We'll be back. The Tigers trail 13-3. They've had to look really, really good in the first half. They've looked kind of not so good in the first half. So to only be down 10, that's, strikeable. Their defense is good enough. Really, a couple of big plays really killed the Tigers at the end of the first half.
Right at the end of the first half. Yeah, like you were saying, they Ballard looked somewhat content to go into halftime there. They weren't really using timeouts or anything, and then they had one big strike, and things just kind of turned around a little bit. So
we'll try another one, and 2 big plays to Sam Peterson from the right arm of Connor Drew, who's a very, very good quarterback. Threw a dart, absolute dart on that touchdown pass. But it's not the only reason we're here tonight. We're here to educate our adoring fans that are literally in the dozens. So we got any kind of like how many people are listening? Have you looked at all that? You can pull that up. Seems like something.
We were above 50 at one time.
Holy mackerel, 50.
I'm not sure what we maxed out at. It looks like we maxed out at 60. We hit the 60 number. So that was around 8:30.
Line graph and everything.
Line
this
graph
is really high tech.
Yep, the pie chart.
I think what most people want to know is some more information about raccoons. So let's.
Well, I'm here to deliver on that. So you asked earlier about where else are they, right?
Yeah.
Or where else are raccoons?
Well, they weren't in the movie Madagascar.
They are native to the Americas. However, they were first exported to Europe in the 1920s as part to stock fur farms.
Oh, yeah.
But by way of accidental bombing and some bored farmers just wanting to spice up local wildlife, many raccoons escaped and founded a new population in the wild. And today, raccoons in Europe are considered an invasive species.
Oh.
They've also made their way into Japan. Their journey there was more wholesome in the 1970s. Japanese children were obsessed with the cuddly star and the anime cartoon Rascal the Raccoon, and kids demanded pet raccoons of their own. And so by that point, Japan was importing roughly 1,500 of them a month. And then again, naturally, many of those ended up back in the wild where they grew too big for families to take care of properly, or when they grew too big for families to take care of properly. And then Japan has now prohibited importing and owning raccoons. Mm-hmm. But the descendants of that initial boom have spread to 42 of the country's 47 prefectures, which are like their states or whatever you want to call them, counties. Prefectures.
There you have it. Now we know where they're from. That answers that question.
Yeah. It's it's just really helpful to know before you go into a conference what you're getting into.
Yeah, Coach Clark's sister. She's got some comments on it. I read them. I think they'd be appropriate for the broadcast right here.
Okay.
She said her dad used to rattle off these lines about. We'll read these. The raccoon tail is ringed all around. That sounds kind of wise. Possum tail is bare.
Yep.
The rabbit's got no tail at all, but a little bitty bunch of hair. Aw.
That's cute.
That is cute. Thanks, Linda, for sharing that with you. I know Jody Chittick offered many, many stories. And Jody, if you want to type one on there, if it's broadcast appropriate, which the bar's pretty low on that, Jody, really, we'll pretty much take anything and put it on the air. You could share a story with it. Tina Beardsley listening in. She's one of our friends. Used to work with us at the middle school. The Hanson.
I just happened to notice on the stream there as we were telling that story, our viewership dropped by 5.
Not everybody looks at raccoons the way we do. Tigers got to get it rolling on offense. Their defense has been pretty good, with the exception of a couple of plays. If you could take the eraser out, erase a couple of plays in the first half, the Tigers really played them pretty evenly.
Yep.
But they trail. It doesn't matter how evenly they played them. They didn't put enough points on the board. They trail by 10 at halftime.
Did you do a score recap just a second ago?
Why don't you do that?
Okay. I couldn't remember if you did or not. Cause
I kind of talked about it.
But professionals.
I didn't do the
first. The first quarter with 9:33 left, 2-yard run by Nate Nessa made it 6-0 Ballard. Tigers stormed back and kicked a 28-yard field goal at the 2:38 mark of the first quarter by Jack Dresser, right down the middle, make it 6-3. And then with 28.5 seconds left before halftime, there was a 35-yard touchdown from the quarterback, Ballard quarterback Drew, to Sam Peterson to make it 13-3. And we're about ready to kick off the second half here, and the Tigers will receive the ball.
It's going to be Carson Johnson catching it about the 10. Got some blockers ahead of him. He's going to go down the right sideline. He's going to get shoved out of bounds at the 30.
A decent field position here to start. They'll have the wind at their backs this third quarter, as the wind is kind of almost straight out of the north, it looks like now. Not a strong wind, but definitely enough to keep the flag blowing decently, so it's not. Should be a little bit of a factor, I would think.
I'm going to call the first play.
Yeah. Well, Henningsen goes under center here, a little power I formation behind him. Handoff will go to VC, and he goes forward. Progress stopped after probably about a yard and a half. Call it 2. We're bringing up a 2nd and 8 here for the Tigers.
Actually, my twin brother wanted a link to he's going to listen on their way home from their game. They were at Turkey Valley tonight. They're done and on their way home. Or I said, hey, we just finished halftime.
Perfect.
All right, Tanner Henningsen up under center now. He'll turn and give it to Veazey over the right side. He'll cut back up in the middle, bounce off another tackler.
Nice little spin move.
He's still moving. He didn't go down. Got to the first down marker, pushes forward for another yard.
Yeah, really good yards after contact there. He's got that little spin move he uses quite a bit, and probably gained 5 yards, 6 yards after contact there initially.
Yeah, if we've had some really good runners here, runners of the ball in the time we've been doing broadcasts and stuff. But Ethan Veazey really holds his own. He's only an 11th grader, so we'll have him back next year too, and I'm thankful for that. Henningsen surveys the Ballard defense there. They've got all 11 guys bunched up around the line of scrimmage. They're going to give it to Cooper Hearn. He's going to bounce off another tackler and go down. So Hearn is not going to dazzle you with fancy footwork, and he just kind of a power runner, goes forward, and he's going to get 3 yards on first down.
Reminds me of, remember Ironhead Hayward?
Yeah.
Back in the day, he said, "You need 1 yard, I'll get you 3."
I was thinking Mike Allstott, but go ahead. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, maybe it was Allstott.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you need 1 yard, I'll get you 3. If you need 5 yards, I'll get you 3.
But he seldom gets negative yardage, and that's one of the things Cooper Hearn brings. Long count now, trying to draw the Bombers off sides. They're going to give it to Veazey over the left side. He's going to put his nose down and get close to another first down. They'll mark him about 1.5 yards short. Opening round of district play tonight, the 3A District 8 opponent, the Ballard Bombers. They'll travel to Carlisle next week, take on the Wildcats. They don't have any place for us to broadcast down there, so we're still kind of in limbo what we're going to do with that game. Carlisle does their own broadcast. Our fans would be very disappointed, I think, if we didn't do it, but we're not sure if we're going to have a place to set up.
Next week I was thinking of doing possum trivia, too.
There you go. Veazey's got it now with a full head of steam. He's got one guy to beat. I think Ethan Veazey's going to take it to the 15, 10, 5. He'll cut back to the left. He's going to go in the end zone.
Oh, he did lose the ball, but he was in the end zone first. There's a guy kind of tailing him, and he actually did a really good job of kind of cutting back towards the middle and making that an even longer run. Otherwise, I think he might not make it in, but he does get in the end zone. Great run there, just the spark that the Tigers needed coming out of halftime.
49-yard touchdown run by Ethan Veazey. It's kind of one of those deals. I think Ethan put his head down to run, and there was nobody there, and he just turned on the afterburners. Headed to the end zone. 9:40 to play in the third quarter, and the Tigers have struck quickly here in the second half. Dresser's kick is high and long, and it's good. So 13-10, Tigers back within a field goal.
Just what the Tigers needed out of halftime to get momentum back on their side. Had some decent drives in that first half, but weren't able to find pay dirt in the end zone, and that time they're able to go in.
So Dresser now will come out and kick off. Dresser on the homecoming court. Ethan Newell, if you didn't hear, big news. Ethan Newell, the homecoming king.
Yep. Dresser had
joins Kevin Reinhardt, a very elite select group of former Gilbert homecoming kings.
There you go.
Saw Kyle Grossnickel here tonight. Also joins Elvis, Jesus, and Michael Jackson as kings.
And Jack Dresser had to, referee had to remind him to take off his aquamarine rings before he came out and kicked the ball.
See Hudson Bellin beckoning to the crowd, or he's trying to fly and can't get to take off. Hudson Bellin, a mammoth young man. Nolan Mueller also out there. Ethan Kluhl also on the kick team. Dresser's kick is high and deep. It's going to be fielded at about the 6-yard line. Going to go up the right. That's Sam Peterson. And he cuts back in the middle of the field. He's going to get a good return outside the 35-yard line.
Yeah, he's got some speed to him. He's returned the ball a couple times really well tonight.
Gets his feet moving. And so I wonder if Dresser would be better to not kick it so high and just boom it into the end zone. I've seen him do it. He did. He had a couple weeks ago. He had I think 1 or 2.
Yeah. Got the last one there.
So Tigers defense, which has been pretty stiff tonight, giving up a couple long pass plays. But other than that, been really good against the run. And after a kind of a rough first drive, they've really settled down here. Now Drew takes a snap off the turf, get over the right side to Herman. Herman's shoved to the ground after a gain of about 3. Big Jake Steenhook in on the tackle. Cooper Hearn. Probably one of those guys every year we seem to have one guy go, hey, if we're not sure who made the tackle, probably Cooper Hearn in on the tackle. He gets in on a lot for the Tigers. Joshua Anderson, who's also on the homecoming court, wears number 33. He's at the right defensive end.
The big question is, like, if you were on the football team and you were playing, do you have to wear the crown during the game?
That's a good question.
Really good defense there again by the Tigers. Really snuffed that out. be huge to keep the momentum here, get the ball back in a quick 3 and out.
Nate Nessa 25 with the carry on that. They run 25, 26, 23, and 20 all out there at running back. It's meant to confuse both the Tiger defense and the broadcast crew. So now 4 wide receivers, 2 left, 2 right. Drew will take the snap. He's going to drop straight back, throws it out on the right side, and he's got Nick Edwards out there. He's not going to get a first down. He picked up 3 or 4. That'll bring up 4th down, and it looks like Ballard's going to kick it away.
Yeah, really good job there. They ran that little wide receiver screen type of play, and they ran the guy down the sideline again. They threw it out there, trying to get the short game to the first down, but really well defended to keep him up 3 yards short.
Might have heard a collective sigh from the young ladies in the crowd. That's because Joe Larimore just trotted on the field to play on the Tiger special team. High snap, but you can't kick it over or throw it over Drew's head. Man, that punt went about 2 miles in the air, and Trey Hansen will fair catch it at about the 33. Reese Broer was down there and ran past Trey Hansen. Trey caught for a fair catch because he saw Broer there, but I think had he not caught for the fair catch, he probably would have pulled in a few more yards. So the Tigers will get the ball at their own 32-yard line on Raccoon Trivia Night. If you're just joining us, Tigers are joining the We're not just like picking some wild animal, random animal from Iowa, although if you're going to pick one, raccoons are very interesting.
Probably one of them.
Yeah.
Probably in the top 5 animals that Iowa's known for.
But the Tigers will join the very conference that the Ballard Bombers occupy.
We'll go through the list in your head. I mean.
Boll Weevil will be in 3 weeks. We'll have the Boll Weevil. Trey Hansen comes in motion. They're going to give it to Veazey. That play looked like it got a little out of sync.
Yeah.
Timing looked a little off there, and Veazey's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Actually, they'll give him a 3/4 of a yard. No, make that 3/8 of a yard.
That's pretty good.
Pat Starr gives him a yard.
Accurate.
We'll give him a yard. Pat Starr, one of the most fair people we know.
Round those up.
So 2nd and a long 9.
Just under 8 minutes left to go here in the 3rd.
Brendan Ergenreiter in at tight end now in a 2 wide receiver set. They're going to throw it out on the side to Trey Hansen. Puts his head down. The play really didn't develop very well. It's a wide receiver screen to Hansen. He had Hawthorne out there blocking, but
yeah, there's
the
one blocker and about 4 bombers.
One of the best broadcasts we've ever done on this network was the Real Bomber or Ballard Bomber that we did a few years ago down there. That's still being talked about on social media and late night
We
talk
could have
shows.
gone real raccoon or fictional raccoon.
So now 3rd and long, 3rd and 8. Henningsen will fake it to Veazey. He's going to roll right. He's got a receiver out there. I'm not sure who that is. Caden Meskin, who come out of the backfield. Caden Meskin, usually tackler. He caught the ball. Good-looking catch, but it's going to bring up 4th down and 4 now. And the Tigers are going to have to punt.
That was a perfect example of onomatopoeia. That sounded like a crack.
Like a crack.
Yeah,
the
that
pads
was a crack, and it sounded like a crack.
I don't think you're going to hurt Caden Meskin doing that. Caden Meskin, one of the toughest kids we got on the team. I'll bring on Morgan Smith. I always get excited when I see Morgan Smith out there doing stuff, and he's going to punt this ball away. He's standing at about his 27-yard line. Carson Johnson will come in motion to the bottom of your screen. So they blew that dead. I think it's because Carson Johnson headed upfield, but I would think that would be illegal motion and not false start. But maybe Trey Becker, if he's listening in the back of a minivan somewhere up in northeast Iowa, could advise on that. We sent a guy in motion on a punt.
Yeah.
He kind of headed upfield, and I do think he headed upfield early.
So?
I'm not going to guess. But he does. Seems like he does it every time, and it doesn't get called very often. Maybe that's something that was pointed out by the Bomber coaching staff. It's possible that they pointed that out. It always seems like it's just very right on the edge. But they called it a false start, bring the Tigers back 5 yards. Now Trey Hansen will go in motion. Guess what he did, Troy? He headed upfield too soon, and they're going to blow it dead again. I thought that was just a legal motion and a foul at the snap. But what do I know? I'm doing flag football that you and I did. That's
sure.
probably the highest level that I'll ever work. And middle school football. So 10 yards of penalties. So I'm not sure what the mechanism is that they know, because they have their back to the center. So how do they know when they should head upfield? Is there some sort of, like, the other wide receiver kind of, quacks his arm or something? And
yeah.
I'm not sure. So Trey Hansen will try it again this time. Not penalized that time. Morgan Smith will boot it. It's a high wobbly kick. It's going to be fair caught all the way back at about the 35-yard line by Sam Peterson, who's got one of the Bomber touchdowns tonight on a, I don't know how long that was, how long that dart was. So we're losing viewers. Maybe we should stop talking about raccoons. Raccoons are cute, like penguins, you know, like make things cuter. If you throw a raccoon, oh, a cute little raccoon. 5:55 to play in the third quarter. Tigers trail 13-10. Ballard will take over after the punt. We're going to give it, actually going to keep it, quarterback keeper. So by the time you figure out that Drew's got it, he's kind of hard to bring down in open field. He's 6'4", probably 215 pounds. High school principal. High school principal Vic Vanderpool joining us in the press box. Probably just checking in for Lindsey Beecher, making sure that we're not doing anything foolish and careless. 5:25 to play in the third quarter. 2nd and 1 now. Drew's going to throw it over the right side. He's got Edwards.
Ooh.
The ball goes out of his hands. He was hit immediately out there by Tony Taronis.
That would have been enough for the first down.
Would have been. Cooper Hearn kind of came in, and that might have been why Edwards dropped it, because he didn't want to get his helmet removed by Cooper Hearn. So third and 1 now. Ballard hasn't had a lot of negative yardage plays here. The Tigers are in a position where if they could hold them here, I think they'd get the ball back via punt. So they're going to be a quarterback keeper.
Oh, man.
He's going to push back and not get it, just as I said, positive yardage play. So now a big decision now for Ballard coaching staff, whether they're going to go for it here. And it doesn't look like they are. I see some, well, now they call their punt team back.
Yeah.
I think they're going to go for it.
Man, that was a great job by the Gilbert line there, though, pushing through, getting right in the bedroom and tackling the.
Yeah, I think Mueller was in there,
putting him down.
Steenhook and Joe Larimore out there on defense. Joe Larimore, I believe just a sophomore, if I'm not mistaken. Larimore is just a 10th grader. So now 4th down and 2. Tigers will bring up all 10 guys in the box. Drew's going to turn and give it over the left side. And they're not going to have any trouble getting the first down. They might get more than that. That was 26 Blaine Herman, who's super fast. Herman went around the left side, so they didn't run it between the tackles,
No,
which
they
you
did
expect
not.
here. Now Herman's still on the turf. Hope he's okay. Just a good hard tackle downfield there by Nolan Mueller. Got him. So you don't like to see when the kids start punching the turf. That usually means something is not good. So we're hoping he's all right. We don't want to see high school kids get hurt in high school football games,
No, certainly not.
whether they're Tigers or Bombers or Rams or Toreadors. Even Norsemen. We don't want to see Norsemen get hurt.
Nobody.
I know it would cheer everybody up right now. It's more information about raccoons.
Probably would. So there's actually studies out there that prove that city raccoons are even more intelligent than their country counterparts.
Prove that.
They've
I don't
put
believe
some.
that.
They've put some GPS collars onto raccoons, and they have figured out a way to maneuver around man-made obstacles and threatening things such as interstate highways. They've also done experiments, apparently, that have proven that if they use the same trash can mechanism, city raccoons are more intelligent, be able to get them open quicker than their rural
Yeah,
counterparts.
kind of some adaptation a little bit.
Exactly.
Well, I saw one at the Chick-fil-A drive-through lane. I think that's probably proof. Oh, we hope Herman's all right. He's been replaced. Now we're going to be back to the action. 4:29 to play in the third quarter. Fake reverse. That's Connor Drew's going to keep it. He's going to take a lick by Nolan Mueller, but not until he gets 4 or 5 yards.
Winding down to about 4 minutes and 20 seconds now in the third quarter.
Tigers trail by 3, 13-10. We kind of thought this would be a close game, probably within a score or more. So did the BC Moore Power Rankings. We refer to him a lot. Brent Moore was actually in the press box. You know those guys. Those guys kind of drop in and act famous and whatnot. Herman's going to throw it out on the left flat. He's got a receiver out there. Carson Johnson came up and whiffed, but Kyler Watson with the catch. That's going to be gain of, we'll say 7 or 8. Going to bring up 3rd and 1. So Tigers defense, which has been pretty stiff on most drives in the first half, with the exception of one, bending back here a little bit. So we've seen 3rd and 1, I think, on 2 straight. I don't know what you call that, same series, but
Yep.
2 straight times now it's been 3rd and 1. Drew will keep the ball and go over the right side. He's got room to run, breaks through the front line. He's going to try to get to the pylon if he can beat around the corner, and decides to just head upfield. Going to get to the 10. That's been a very, very effective play for them tonight. Just a fake handoff and the quarterback keeper. And
they bottled it up pretty well after that first series, and then this last couple times that he's done that option keeper, he's gotten a couple pretty good gains on it. That'll put the Bombers just inside the 10-yard line, so a first and goal situation.
Seen some quarterbacks in Gilbert Tiger football history that ran that play really well. Jared Gescheider, I think of. Jordan Knock, also good at that. I think someone started falsely.
It'll be a big help on the Tigers side here if that moves them back 5.
Well, they were inside the 10. Now they'll be back to the 14. I think it was about the 9.
Yeah, Cole Drzymski was also.
Cole Drzymski could run the option as well as any quarterback we've had. Kind of got thrust into starting role when Jared Gescheider hurt a knee against this very Ballard.
Steve
well, it
Lawrence.
wasn't the same team. It was different.
Stephen Lawrence.
Stephen Lawrence. Not a big power runner, but
no,
very effective runner of the football. Stevie was here a couple weeks ago. Going to give it on the reverse. Tigers have it strung out pretty well. Hawthorne's going to pull him down from behind. I think that was Sam Peterson on the end around. It was. Drew Hawthorne did a good job of fighting off a block.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought he was going to be able to get to the outside. And like you said, really good job of just kind of swimming off that block. And
so he'll get 4 yards
back.
So it gets back about where where it was first and goal. It's going to bring up second and goal from the 10-yard line. We'll call it the 11. That's where Jamie Lenz has put down the yard marker.
Is that a timeout that time?
It looks like Ballard's going to call a timeout. I thought it was either a penalty or that.
Yeah.
So if you weren't with us at halftime, Amy Taylor, Ethan Newell crowned homecoming king and queen respectively. The 2019 homecoming court. A very memorable night for Amy. Tigers trail 13-10, 3:14 to play in the third quarter. Been a good, hard-fought football game. Two pretty evenly matched teams, I'd have to say, Troy.
Yeah, I'd agree with you 100%. Both offenses have had some success on drives moving the ball. Sometimes, again, too, it's been a little stagnant back and forth, too. But overall, like you said, pretty even so far. Definitely anybody's game, obviously a 3-point game with 3:14 left. Be big if the Tigers could hold them even just to a field goal attempt here.
One of these teams will start 3A District 8 game 1-0. The other one will go to 0-1. The Tigers travel to Carlisle in 2 weeks, and I think, or next week, and then the week after that, they'll host the North Polk Comets. Another team that'll be, I think, going with us to the Raccoon River Conference.
They are.
That I believe that is true. Ballard,
They're
Boone,
coming along, yep.
Carroll, Winterset, ADM. They throw a pass to the corner of the end zone, corner route, and it's going to be caught for a touchdown. That was Nick Edwards. Kind of a fade route towards the.
Just out towards the pylon there.
Trey Hansen out there in coverage, but couldn't quite get to him. And 11-yard touchdown pass from Connor Drew to Nick Edwards in the right corner of the end zone. Makes it 19-10. Point after try forthcoming. Connor Utley kicks it up, and it's good. That'll make it 20-10. Tigers trail by a touchdown and a field goal. On a beautiful night here in Gilbert. Kind of probably the coolest night that we've had so far this fall season. The 5th game. So after this game, we're halfway done with the 2019 football season.
That's
Tigers,
hard to believe, isn't it?
Tigers
almost October.
It's almost October. It is. October, my favorite month of the year. Becker family, 11 kids in the Becker family, 6 October birthdays.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Huh.
My younger brother Ben is the 1st. My sister Cammie's the 10th. My twin brother and I is the 13th. And I got a brother Jeff. You know Jeff Becker.
Yeah, Jeff.
Right here.
Even more interesting than Raccoon Trivia.
It is. 6. How did we get? And they're adopted, so it's not really like kind of got to take the birthday that the kids come with. You can't really pick them. Well, you could, but that'd be kind of odd.
I think people do stranger things sometimes in that process, but
Obi Soash will come in and kick it off. Obi kicks it very, very high in the air. It's going to be caught by Spencer Klatt. Oh, that's actually Cooper Hearn. Cooper Hearn not had a lot of kickoff returns to my recollection on the season. He's going to get out close to the 25. The Tigers need a drive here
Yep.
and put some points on the board. It's a lot of time left, 3:06 to go in the third quarter, but can't have any empty drives here. We'll update the score for it. It's 20-10. 3:06 to play. Looks like Meskin's going to be in at fullback. Ethan Veazey behind him. They'll give it to Veazey up the middle. Veazey's got a little bit more room to run. Had a lot of room here in the second half to run between the tackles, and he's going to get 8 or 9 yards on first down. I hate to say this. Tigers missed Tucker Hansen tonight. He's kind of a big play option that they have, and not taking anything away from any of our other receivers or skill position. But Tucker Hansen, if you look in the statistics on Iowa Quick Stats, you can look there and what percentage of our offense rushing and receiving that he's accounted for. It's a sizable chunk.
He has 17 receptions for 291 yards and 2 touchdowns, and 18 rushing attempts for 188 yards and 5 TDs. So
we're talking here. Meskin with the carry up the middle, needed 2, got about 5. That'll move the chains.
Actually, that's total. So total of 5 TDs. Sorry about that.
Rodney Reinhardt has the line to gain. Rodney kind of trotted, showed some hustle there. Wasn't pretty, but very effective. Rodney Reinhardt on the chain crew.
Well done.
Tigers up quickly, not going to huddle. They'll go to Meskin up the middle again. He bounces off a tackler and hits another one. He's going to get 5 yards. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage, but ricocheted off of somebody. They paid dearly for that endeavor. You don't want to get hit by Caden Meskin.
No.
Caden's going to come out now, and they'll go with the tight end, Brennan Ergenreiter. 2 Ergenreiters on the team. You see Alex, your center there, 77, or 71, excuse me. He'll snap it between his legs. Henningsen will turn and give it to Veazey over the left side. He'll get ahead of steam. He's going to get close to a first down.
And I like the Tigers have been pretty effective with the run here the last few drives. Like you said, a lot of time left, so you got plenty of time to march this down the field.
We'll
down to about minute 30 left in the third.
Trey Hansen and Hawthorne will be at the bottom of your screen. Tigers go with I formation with Cooper Hearn right behind Tanner Henningsen and to the one side. Henningsen's just going to bowl forward. Jacob Teresi knocking somebody on their can, and Henningsen will get the first down. That's meant to just be a quick hit. Worked.
Yep, moving the chains, and
Tigers are moving the chains. They'll
about halfway down the field.
See Nolan Mueller in on offense. I don't know that I've seen him on offense all year. 55 Mueller.
Could be
the Tigers are just going to go to the power formation.
Could be the fridge package.
They're going to give it to Carson Johnson. He almost goes down, then he puts the ball on the turf, and now we got a penalty flag coming in, and we'll see if that's a face mask. That'll allow the Tigers to keep the ball. I don't know who's going to come out with it. Still haven't seen an indication. It looks like somebody's hurt. We got a lot going on here, Troy.
Yeah, this
We
will
got
be
a
a fun
penalty
one
flag.
to
We had
sort
a
out.
fumble, and we had an injury. I still haven't seen who I assume they're giving it to the Tigers because they haven't moved
They
the
haven't
chains yet.
moved the chains or anything, yeah.
I don't think anybody really indicated, so.
No, I didn't see any indication of.
There's a possibility they didn't see the fumble, but
Unless he was trying to mark the ball with the flag, possibly.
yeah, it's possible.
I mean, you usually don't do that, obviously, but
So we got some big decisions coming from our officiating crew here. They've done a very nice job tonight, but there seems to be a little bit of, they're going to give it to Ballard. Huh. Block in the back, that's going to be declined, and Ballard will get it on the turnover. I'm pretty sure he fumbled. I'm not even questioning that, but I didn't see any quick indication, like a point one way or the other. So Carson Johnson puts it on the turf. The Bombers recover. The Tigers were driving. We'll see if they can recover from a costly turnover in Ballard territory. Now, Ballard played some really good teams pretty close. They lost to DCG 7-0, I think, and Winterset, who's going to be a competitive team in their district too, last week just by 10 points or so. Drew's going to throw it down the field, throws off his back foot. Tigers turn around. If Hawthorne get turned around, he's got
Oh, my
it.
goodness.
Oh, Edwards comes out with it. I have no idea how he caught that. He's going to take it all the way into the end zone.
Oh, man, it almost looked like he just stole it out of the hands on the way down almost.
Yeah, we had 3 defenders there. Drew Hawthorne looked like he was in the best position to intercept it. I thought he had it, Troy, but Edwards comes out with the ball, turns around, nobody behind him, and he takes it all the way in. 47, 53 yards. That was actually at the Tiger 47, so 53 yards on the touchdown. So things kind of got rolling the other way here in the second half. The Bombers have scored twice. They lead 27-10. Tigers got their work cut out for them. 48 seconds to play in the third quarter. So Nick Edwards, 2 weeks in a row, Tigers have had really, really good wide receivers they've had to defend. This Nick Edwards is a pretty crafty guy. Hasn't been a huge problem for the Tigers tonight. Sam Peterson's actually done more damage, but you can see why he's got 400 and some yards receiving on the season. He's added to that, so he's well over 300 now. Or well over 500, excuse me. Went the wrong way.
Yeah, Edwards, like I said, had 20 for 432 coming into this with 8 touchdowns. Or excuse me, 1 touchdown is all he had. Peterson had 5 for 60 with 2 touchdowns. So obviously Edwards had a lot more yards, averaging 21.6 per catch. That's pretty lofty.
That would get you a high draft pick in the high school fantasy football league if you were in one. If you are, that's kind of sad actually, being in the high school fantasy football league. I did tell Johnny Stoker I had him in my middle school fantasy football league. I think he believed me. High kick to Carson Johnson. He's going to catch it at about the 16. He's going to go up the right sideline. Cuts back, runs over a couple guys, gets outside the 30, almost to the 35. Want to thank Chad Olson for helping us out on the camera tonight. Actually, ate with Olson's tonight. He had to fix a little tailgate at his house. Sorry you didn't get invited. That's kind of awkward now that I've mentioned it.
Well,
you can come next time.
We've got pizza.
Yeah, we got some pizza
thanks.
up here. In the
Yeah, once again, that would have been another great neighbor to have. So
he would have been living behind Chad.
Yeah,
if
would have been.
Had one of those hot dog, the kind of the spicy hot dogs, those spicy links.
Yeah,
very, very good. And I don't appear to have any
high
ill
quality
effects from that.
That's good.
Feeling good.
Good to know.
So Henningsen back up under center. The Tigers need to move the chains. They'll use Veazey to do that, but chains are not going to move on first down, and we got a flag coming in. Veazey's face mask might have got grabbed, and we'll see if that's what the call is. I believe that is going to be the call. Personal foul, face mask, which is a 15-yard penalty, so Tigers will move the chains. They'll remain first down. Thrown by the line judge on this side. Looked like he kind of bowled forward and his head stayed back is the reason I thought that there was a face mask. I was right. Sorry about that.
I was just going to say 38 seconds left in the third quarter here.
Lots of time left. Tigers do have time, but can ill afford turnovers. Need to keep the chains moving.
Tigers have 2 in the bottom part of the screen here. It looks like Hawthorne. Can't see the other numbers.
Hansen. It's Trey Hansen.
Trey Hansen.
Tell because he has white shoes. That's how I tell.
Nicely done. You've got all those broadcasting tricks.
He gets it on the end around. He's going to cut in, pull up, make a good decision, and he's going to end up getting 6 yards and kind of save a play. That was going to get strung out.
Yeah, he
Trey
did a good job. Good job of cutting that up again.
Trey Hansen, part of the neighborhood, just a block to the south of me.
See if the Tigers get this off before the quarter expires or not. Looks like they're going to.
With the win, they're going to try to throw. Henningsen's going to roll right, heavy pressure. Throws it out in the flat to Alex Ergenreiter, but he was under heavy duress from behind.
Yeah, good job, honestly, of just getting rid of that. And
Cale Crow, 79, a big strapping lad, was given chase. Actually had Tanner by the legs when he threw that. So Tigers are going to end the third quarter trailing by 17 points to the Ballard Bombers, 27-10 in the 3A District 8 opening round game. Tigers will, again, as we've said a couple times, they're going to head to Carlisle next week, be home against the North Polk Comets the week after that, with remaining games against Bondurant Farrar, which I believe will be there, and Norwalk will be home. I think that pretty much rounds out the season, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it does, yeah. Definitely does.
Tigers will play the rest of their games on artificial turf.
I've got one more. Should we break it out now?
I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah, one more fun fact here, and that is that raccoons actually do most of their seeing with their hands. Yep, they're very dexterous in their hands. They have huge numbers of sensory receptors. In fact, if you see the raccoons lick their hands, that actually increases the amount of sensory that they get. So when you see them lick their hands, it's not just because they're dirty or cleaning themselves. It actually helps them see by touch.
All right. Tanner Henningsen will do a counter to Veazey underneath. He gets around the first line of defenders, runs a guy over. He's going to get shoved out of bounds, but not until he gets the first down. I think Tanner Henningsen licked his hands right before that play.
Well, he has some raccoon-like tendencies.
Yes, he does.
He has the black under the eyes. Hopefully we don't have to check him for.
I'd mentioned, I hope we don't have any, I don't want to irritate any animal rights people or something. I used to hunt raccoons a lot as a kid, so I've actually had a lot of experience with raccoons. We had dogs that would hunt them at night, and I could go through that. I don't think people really care. So after the first down, now the Tigers will be at the Ballard 38-yard line. Henningsen's going to go deep down the left sideline. He's got Trey Hansen out there. He's going to catch it at the 3, and he's going to go in.
Great pitch and catch there, right on the money, and that was into the wind.
Hansen with a defender, pretty good position. The throw was really well thrown by Henningsen right over the defender's shoulder. Hansen will haul it in at the 3-yard line and take it in for the 37-yard touchdown. Henningsen to Hansen. Jack Dresser will come on the PAT. Carson Johnson coming on to be part of the point after try. I don't even know who snaps on our. Do you know who's our long snapper? I'll watch. Dresser's kick is good. I think it's
number 5.
Yeah, Jonah Hillman. I knew that. Jonah Hillman.
All right, so you got her down to a 2-score game again.
Tigers defense is really going to have to do what they couldn't do on the last drive, and that is slow down the Ballard offense. That's all it's all about. You get some first downs, you get some stops. That's kind of a good combination. The Tigers have done both well at times tonight, but they haven't done it enough to get back in this game. They've trailed the entire game. It was 6-0, then 6-3. Jack Dresser will come out and tee it up to kick off after the touchdown. 11:47 to play. So just one play into the fourth quarter. And
One left.
Ballard bunches their return team up in the middle, thinking maybe there would be an onside kick. I don't think the Tigers would onside kick at this. Now, if we had Jacob Houston, I could see it happening because Jacob Houston was trick shot artist with the pool cue and the pool ball. Could also do it with a football. Dresser was going to boot that one like a soccer kick. It's going to go all the way down.
He's
not go out of bounds. He does have to pick it up. All the way inside his 5-yard line. Breaks a couple of tackles and goes. That was a pretty good return considering. So it went down. If it goes in the end zone, it's a touchback. Out of bounds, they'd get it to 35. It didn't do either one of those.
Sat in the corner.
That was Mason Murphy. Caught it. Really did a pretty good job of avoiding disaster there for Ballard. So Tigers haven't pinned back, but it could have been much worse. They're going to start at their own 15-yard line. It's the brain trust of the Gilbert School District has joined us in the press box. Mike Danielson, our boss, so we've got to be on our best behavior here. He could literally fire us in just one phone call. Both you and I are done, and I'm guessing he's thought about it a time or two.
Several times.
Drew's going to keep the ball over the right side. Tigers had it defended, but, boy, Drew's just been hard to bring down tonight in traffic. He's going to get 10 yards on first down.
Yeah, just a little hole in the line there that he slipped through and then really kind of made something out of nothing there almost. And
yeah, for a big kid, very explosive.
Yeah.
And they've got a couple of threats to do that. We've seen Blaine Herman, too, who's very elusive and quick. And Tigers, like I said, they've stopped him on 3 plays, but that 4th play has kind of killed him.
Yep.
So we'll see if they can slow down this drive. First down and 10. Ball's at the 26-yard line. Going to fake it to Herman and give it underneath to, they'll fake it to Peterson and give it to Herman.
Yeah, that one was well sniffed out by the Tigers. Good penetration in the backfield and about 3 Tigers back there, so nowhere for him to go. Loss of a yard or yard and a half there.
Aiden Carr in on the action there. Ty German in on defense. We called some of these guys' names, but probably not enough time. 67, Jacob Steenhook. Meskin, Anderson up on the line. Aiden Carr, Nolan Mueller, and Hearn at linebacker. Hawthorne, Johnson, Taronis, and Trey Hansen at the defensive backs. So now 2nd and 11. Herman will give it, Drew will give it to Herman. I was doing really well most of the game.
You're doing perfect. I fell asleep there. Actually caught a little nap.
Dreaming of raccoons in your garbage can. That's been most of the comments overnight is they trash pandas. You've heard them called that, where they like to get in your trash cans. We've been camping before and woke up and garbage is strewn everywhere by the raccoons. So 3rd and 9 now.
Huge play in this game. Tigers can get any sort of stop here. You'd think you'd see the punt unit on this portion of the field.
So they spread 3 wide receivers left, 1 right. We'll see if maybe they try to run underneath, but they're going to throw it down the right sideline. Edwards had it go off his hands. He was open. Trey Hansen, the closest defender, but if he'd have caught that, the throw was a little high.
Yeah, I think Drew got rid of that just a little bit earlier than he wanted to because there was some pressure coming from the Tigers. So threw it a little bit earlier than he was coming out of his break. So they do bring the punt unit on.
Tigers' defensive interior linemen help their defensive backs out there, put a little pressure on Drew. He's going to go back and punt it now. And he'll have Trey Hansen and Carson Johnson both back at their own 35-yard line to return this punt. So that's a substitution infraction. They had 12 guys in formation. You can't do that in high school football. Official's going to count them, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty, substitution infraction on. So I think they thought they were 1 short, and they weren't. I've seen that happen a lot, and they run a player on, which they didn't really need. So that'll move the duo of Hansen and Johnson up to the 40-yard line. Tucker Hansen, the Tigers' leading offensive weapon this year, is out tonight with an injury. We haven't seen him tonight. Drew will kick that away. Trey Hansen will catch it at his own 35-yard line. He's going to go right. Going to get shoved out of bounds at about the 45-yard line.
There's a flag down here.
Way behind the play. There's a flag right near an injured Ballard bomber. That usually means something that shouldn't have happened back away from the play, that somebody either got blindsided or hit in the back. We hope he's all right. So that's going to move the Tigers back 15 yards or 10, almost certainly here. We'll see what the call is from the officiating crew. It'll be personal foul. Blindside block on the Tigers. I was right on my analysis. So kind of a foolish penalty. The Tigers would have decent field position. This is going to march them back 15 yards, so they'll be back right around their own, inside their own 30s where they'll start this drive. 9.5 minutes to go. So that's kind of a point of emphasis this year on plays like that, way behind the play, that you can't just turn somebody's lights out. Scott Otter getting an explanation from the official on this side. Big penalty in the game. Tigers would have had good. They're going to have to go 15 more yards here. Maybe not a deal breaker, but.
He's back up and going off the field.
Yeah.
So.
And I believe that was one of the player, the bomber, that was involved in the blindside block. So it was the blindside block that resulted in the bomber going down. We hope he's okay. That's going to march the Tigers back, and they're going to start about their own 29-yard line. 29 is where they'll start, 1st and 10. So we've seen a lot of running tonight. The Tigers went through the air to get their last touchdown. We'll see what Randy Sneezik comes up with on this drive. So 9.5 minutes to go, lots of time. Tigers are going to need 2 scores, though. They trail 27-17. They don't need 2 touchdowns, just a touchdown and a field goal to catch them. They'll give it to Veazey. He's going to stutter step up the middle, push forward. Pyle gets pushed forward.
Good gain there on 1st down. Bring up 2nd and 5.
Get 5.
4 to 5. So our cheerleaders tonight are Lexi Risdall, Haley Calabro, CJ Buss, Sierra Laser Webb, Julie Benz, Lauren Schwenderman, Alicia McConville, Allie Austin Driggers, Olivia Shulka, Claire Lewis, and Jess Stoker.
That's a good crew.
Coached by Jordan Sisma.
That's a good crew. So pitch out to Veazey over the right side. He's got a full head of steam. He's going to get past the 1st down stake. That'll move the chains. Veazey pretty quietly. I'm going to guess he's probably up around 100 yards. He's had a pretty good night running it.
Yeah, very effective for sure. Had that long run earlier in the half. Clock ticking down to about 8:40 here.
I formation set now with Meskin at fullback. Going to turn and give it on the end around to Trey Hansen. Well defended by the Bombers. Trey did a good job of just moving up, heading up field. Looks like he lost the ball, but they're going to allow the Tigers to keep it down by forward progress or something. So not much there for Hansen. Did a good job of just turning that field. We've seen him do that a couple times tonight where he's kind of.
Yeah, the first time they ran that play, got a pretty solid gain. Ballard has snuffed it out really well since then.
Bring up 2nd and 9. Ball's at the 41-yard line. 8:05 to play in the game. They're going to fake it to Veazey. Play action pass. Henningson's going to throw down the right side. He's got 2 receivers on that area. He had Cooper Hearn and Trey Hansen and kind of bounced in between them. I'm not sure who it was actually intended for, but I think falls to the turf incomplete. Bring up 3rd and 9. We're kind of getting to the point in the game where the Tigers really can't afford a punt here.
Yeah, I would think
Ballard
you're
a
in
chance
4.
to run some clock off with a little under 8 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, I would think you're in 4-down territory at this point.
It's kind of gotten cool here in the press box. We usually take the windows out. We didn't tonight. So I guess we could shut the windows, but then we don't really – it's kind of hard to – there. Close
That's
at 4 or
way
5
better.
inches. That dropped warmed up 2 degrees in here.
Yeah.
Little breeze blowing out of the north.
It definitely hasn't gone down.
Henningsen drops straight back. He's going to throw it down the middle of the field. It was tipped by a defensive back. I think they were trying to get it to – was that Blake Griner out in the flat. He also had Spencer Klatt, and that is going to force a turn. The Tigers were fortunate that didn't get tipped up in the air and get intercepted. It's tipped by a Ballard defender into the air, but nobody there to pull it down now, and the Tigers will have to punt. Aiden Carr, Spencer Klatt, Blake Griner will stay on the field for the punt team. Or are we going to go for it? I think we're going to punt it, aren't we? Ethan Veazey will punt this time. We've seen him and Morgan Smith both punting duties tonight. That's going to be a substitution infraction. The rule doesn't say that you can't break the huddle with 12. It doesn't really say that, but you can't. If you go in, you only have 3 seconds to turn around and get back out. And the Tigers had 12 guys out of the huddle, and fair enough. Ballard got called for that on the last drive. Tigers get called here. So this would be a good time for Veazey to unload one. Klatt will come in motion legally. Veazey does unload one, a high wobbly punt. It's not going to be returned, I don't think. It's going to bounce at about the 42 and roll out of bounds at about the 37, 38-yard line. So can't have too many first downs on this drive.
No,
they got to get the ball back.
Yeah, Tigers definitely have to buckle down on defense, try and get the ball back quickly here. 7:43 is what we got left in the game. Tigers have fought hard.
They have.
A couple big plays overall, kind of like we talked about.
Yeah, we're not doing that to point out kids or anything, but the fumble on that one drive where the Tigers were moving was a backbreaker. So Ballard will come out here. We'll see if they air it out or try to keep it on the ground. Just one receiver or one back next to Drew. They'll give it to Herman underneath. He's not a big kid, but he gets through that hole quickly. It's going to get 5 yards on first down. Him stand next to Drew. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say Carr in on that tackle.
Aiden Carr. We've seen a little bit on offense last year, actually quite a bit on offense last year. I don't think we've seen him on offense at all this year, in at linebacker tonight. We've seen Carson Johnson play that linebacker position. Carson filling in for Tucker Hansen at cornerback. He's out on the top of the screen. Looks like Drew checked down on a play or gave the bunt sign. He's going to keep the ball now. Aiden Carr hauls him to the turf. 69 Jacob Teresi also in that tackle. Saw him kind of rub his arm, like kind of a baseball signal. That usually means they have 2 plays called and they check down to the second one. Called his own number, imagine that.
There you go.
Quarterbacks do that all the time.
A big play here. We're at 3rd and 3, we're about right at 3, I guess.
Their defense could get them the ball back here. You have some hope. Carmen Wilson crowned the Citizen of the Year tonight. I think that was part of the ceremony. We didn't have that on the YouTube channel, but very deserving. Carmen does a lot of good things for Gilbert. Herman now on 3rd and 3. He's going to throw the ball over the right side and throws it through the hands of Mason Murphy. He also had Edwards out there. So 4th and 4. Ballard will be forced to at least show that they're going to punt. Can't imagine here why you wouldn't get this one away. With
time's on your side. 6:16, a little slightly surprised that they even threw that ball there. I mean, you stop the clock if you don't complete it, and if you don't gain anything either, you're not going to have a really good chance at.
So Trey Hansen goes back by himself this time. Carson Johnson was back there. Now he's moved to the line of scrimmage. We'll see if the Tigers put a little pressure and try to come get this kick. They didn't really. Ball's going to bounce at about the 25-yard line, then bounce again. 15-yard line was where it'll be down, where the Tigers will have to go 85 yards if they want to hit pay dirt. They don't have to get a touchdown on this drive. They could get a field goal, but kind of feel better if they would just score a touchdown on the first or second play of this drive.
Hey, you mentioned Carmen Wilson getting the Gilbert Citizen of the Year, or is that, I don't know the exact terminology, but basically the gist of it is that. And yes, he does a lot of tremendous things. You and I talked about that before. He's organized some softball activities, Gilbert Amazing Race activity.
Adult prom, don't forget about that.
Golf outings.
Yeah. So Tanner Henningsen now with VZ right next to him will take the shotgun snap, drop straight back, throw it out in the flat. He's got a screen out there to VZ. He's got some blockers. VZ cuts up field. He'll have enough for first down, gets another block. Still on his feet, past the 30. He's got 4 or 5 Bomber defenders on his back, and he's going to go down all the way to the 30-yard line. VZ a little slow to get up, helped up by a couple of Ballard guys. Good sportsmanship. VZ shows a little favoring one of his feet or legs.
Tigers definitely more of a hurry-up set now.
We're going to go without a huddle here. Henningsen's going to throw it again. This time he's got it out to somebody. I think it was Greiner maybe. 26, Blake Greiner. Blake Greiner's a kid. I don't even remember him playing middle school football. He may have, but I don't remember it. Contributing now at the varsity level.
Yep.
Blake. Just an 11th grader. Had Blake in driver's ed a couple summers ago. He's going to give it underneath to VZ now. He's going to cut back in, get a little room to run. Going to get 7 or 8 yards. Good stick put on in there by Mason.
First down, yeah.
I always knew that I had Blake in driver's ed that day. You know why? Wrappers all over the back seat.
Oh, really?
Blake could just have a buffet back there of snacks and stuff he brought with him.
Well, you got to pass the time, Trent.
It's not exactly the most exciting thing. Well, depending on who's driving in the front seat, the back seat can actually be kind of exciting. 5.5 minutes to play in the game. Tigers trail by 10. Started throwing 15. Now they're driving. They're going to run the option to the right. They're going to pitch it out to Cooper Hearn. That play didn't really. It's not the prettiest play we've ran tonight. Didn't really look like it had much teeth to it.
Yeah. I think just the Bombers did a really good job of stringing that out.
They did.
No real.
Probably why it kind of got jammed up. Tigers are going to go quickly again. They'll be back up the line of scrimmage. No gain on that play. 2nd and 10. Ball's at the 41. 5 minutes to play in the game. Tigers trail by 10. Henningsen drops straight back. Going to throw it out on the right side. He had Drew Hawthorne out there, but wasn't open. The ball's going to go out of bounds. Hawthorne would have gotten about 5 yards on 2nd down. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. So they will have 2 downs to get the 10 yards because almost certainly they will go for it here with under 5 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, I would think for sure. Thanks everybody out there for listening.
Yeah.
It's held pretty steady as far as the number of listeners, so we haven't offended too many people yet tonight.
Still 5 minutes to play in the game, Troy. We might get off. A screen pass out at the right side to VZ. Well blocked out there. Ty German was out doing some work. Got a good. It's 4th down. The Tigers will go here with 3 yards to go.
Yeah, even though they didn't make that, it was, now we're at a very reasonable 4th down distance where you don't necessarily have to pass it here.
VZ's been good for 1 or 2 yards most of the night here. He's going to need a full 2 yards, maybe not quite 2 yards.
Bombers are really stacking that middle, though.
They'll give it to VZ up the middle. He's not going to get it. Looks like he got tripped up, and he's going to be marked short. He's going to be marked to the 50. He had to get to the 49, and that'll turn it over on downs. And VZ's on the turf. He got hit kind of low, not dirty or anything, but just got tripped up, and he may have sustained a lower leg injury. Hopefully he's all right. The athletic trainers will trot on. We got a good crew of trainers.
Yep. Yeah, we definitely appreciate them.
Brian Sanders and Sammy Schneider.
Yeah, they help us out a ton on cross country as well. And you go to the to their room after school, and it kind of looks like a.
Do they have like, please take a number?
Yeah,
Is there a
yeah,
lot of?
It's like the return line at Target or something, and no, but they do an excellent job, and the athletes really appreciate it. The coaches really appreciate it. It's a huge benefit to our school.
Sometimes I like make up fake ailments. See if I can get Brian, get him guessing. Tell him I had hot dog fingers one time. Can't help you. It's not part of my degree. So Ballard will take over right at midfield, 1st and 10. Trying to run the clock out with 4:12 to go. They're going to do a quarterback keeper. Drew's going to bounce off. So what Ballard doesn't want to do here is turn it over. Tigers will take their first timeout. They have 3 of them. I think Scott Otter's coaching contract requires him to use all of his timeouts, all 6 timeouts every game. I don't think I've ever seen Scott Otter take a timeout to the locker room or the bus ride home. So they'll call timeout with 4:03 to play on the clock. We'll announce sometime later this week what we're going to do for next week. It's not looking very hopeful though that we will have a broadcast, but we'll share the link and if we do that, Carlisle runs a student broadcast through one of their websites. And
now, I believe you also mentioned even if we did do it, there's no video, right?
You can't do video. Their visiting teams cannot do video, so it would just be audio only. Yeah. So no video from that. So
considering the better option would be just to
let
you watch video, and we'll keep you updated.
Broadcast bye week. We have our bye week next week. But we should have the rest of the games on.
Is this the one year that the Longhorn Network picks up?
2nd and 8 now. They're going to throw a pass out to the left side. Receiver's going to get a first down. He's going to stay in bounds. And looks like that was to Kyler Watson out on the left flat. He's going to get a first down. So maybe Ballard's thinking, well, they're going to be keen on the run, trying to run the clock out, and they just throw a pass out there. And that's a lot of confidence in a quarterback to let just an 11th grader, Drew, now I don't know how they redo the districts next year if we'll be in Ballard's district again. This is the last 2-year cycle on the districts. So, there's a lot of things that could happen. I don't know that Gilbert would ever drop back to 2A. We might be far enough, but we are one of the smaller 3A schools.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we will be in 2 years. That number could go up. We do have continued growing enrollment here at Gilbert. So on the 1st and 10, they're going to give an inside handoff to Murphy. He's going to get 6-7 yards before the Tigers push him back. Tigers will take another timeout, or will they?
Not yet, it doesn't look like. For a second there, I thought I saw one of the Tigers grab him by the face mask apparatus, but
that would be illegal.
It would be illegal.
Nobody
agreed with me there.
Isaac Rotman also out there on defense and on the play. Tigers have opted not to call a timeout here. 3 minutes to go in the game. Clock is rolling. They won't have to snap this till about 2:45 to go in the game. My math is good, which it's not most nights. Drew's just going to keep this one.
Gets swallowed up that time.
Went down really awkwardly there. I don't know if somebody stepped on his foot. It didn't look gracious. Now the Tigers will call a timeout. So they'll have one more left in the game. 2:38 to play. So Drew kind of spun around and then went down really, and he's limping a little bit to the sidelines. He's really had a good game tonight. He's been kind of the
straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah, the straw that stirs the drink, but just the guy who's really kind of broke the Tigers' back. A really good play, pass to a streaking receiver. So that score right at the end of the first half really, I don't want to say the difference, but that's kind of where the tide turned. And thought Chad Olson dropped the camera out of the press box there for a minute. It's all right. Yeah, it's kind of a precarious setup, the way we've got the camera halfway perched out the window.
We live on the edge here.
Oh, yeah.
So 2:38 left on the clock here after the timeout. Ballard's facing a 3rd down and, what'd you call it, about 8.
Tigers need kind of a miracle here late in the game. They're going to need the ball back, would be priority number 1. Drew will bark out the signals. He's going to throw it. Throws it out in the right flat. There's a receiver out there, Edwards. He's going to go out of bounds and do the Tigers a favor.
Yeah, did a little bit of a favor there.
It's kind of a curious call. I could see him throwing it out there if you got a good receiver like they do, but you don't want to go out of bounds.
You're really almost better just taking the sack.
The clock would still be running.
Clock would still be running. It's 4th down. You're probably going to
have to punt it anyway.
Punt-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they are showing at least.
They are in no man's land anyway.
So Connor Drew will come back out to punt it.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting situation, being that you're on the 38 and on the opposing seats. They're on the Tiger side of the field. So
Joe Larimore will come out as he does.
Probably just take the delay of game almost. Nope, they're going to punt it.
Drew
that is straight up in the air.
Holy mackerel. So the Tigers need to make sure they don't get anywhere near that.
Well, they could go grab that now.
Yep.
Well, why are you diving?
Doesn't matter. It's point of first touching. The worst thing that could happen there, the Tigers would get the ball where the Bomber, which is about where it was recovered. Yeah. But yeah, really, if it ever hits the punt team, it doesn't really. You have nothing to lose there. Try to pick it up.
That's what I was thinking. Is just go.
Well, we just fell on it.
If you're going to dive on it, you might as well just let her die. But
Tigers either way will get the ball at their own 29-yard line. 2:24 to play in the game. They've got a long way to go and a short time to get there, as Smokey and the Bandit once said. Was that on the list of things we're supposed to say? No Smokey and the Bandit references? Because I just aced that one if
you
there
did.
was.
I bet.
Henningsen will drop straight back. He's going to throw it out in the left flat. He's got Carson. I think it's Carson Johnson out there. It's not. It's Greiner. 35 and 26 can look an awful lot alike.
He's quietly had a nice game.
Yeah. Blake Greiner getting some playing time tonight. Tucker Hansen, the Tigers' leading receiver and second leading rusher, I believe, is out tonight with an injury. Hopefully he'll be able to dance tomorrow night at the dance. Tucker Hansen, good dance moves.
Yeah, he was an all-conference homecoming dancer last year, I heard.
Passes across the middle of the Hawthorne. It's going to be hauled down. That'll stop the clock while they move the chains. Ball's going to be about the 43-yard line.
Tigers do have one timeout left, 2:14 left.
They won't use it here. They'll take advantage of the chains moving. It's set down. They're going to spike it into the turf, kill the clock. So it costs them a down, but it saves them some time, so they'll get to huddle up now and come up with a good play. That 57-yard touchdown play that Randy Sneezik keeps in his shoe. He takes the shoe off, pulls the piece of paper out.
Randy Sneezik and I were ecstatic the other day when the Twins finally clinched the Central Division. Had to shout out for my Twins there. Nice little catch there to Trey Hansen again. Another first down.
40.
See if the Tigers opt to spike it again. Looks like that's the intent.
They do. So I'll stop the clock. 2:03 to play in the game. Said this would be we would have to come up with a name for this, the Miracle, Homecoming Miracle or something to that effect. The Tigers really with their backs against the wall here, but they're not quitting. They're going to keep driving it. Henningsen drops straight back, looking to throw. Throws a screen out to Veazey. Needs to get out of bounds. He puts the ball on the turf. I think Ballard recovered it. That will do it. So Veazey trying to get some extra yardage. Probably should just ran out of bounds there. As he stretches out, he puts the ball on the turf. Ballard will be able to, I don't know if they'll be able to take a knee with the 42nd now. This is only going to be, let's see, 40 times 3.
We do have one timeout in there.
Yeah, they have one timeout. They're not going to be able to just take a knee here. They're going to have to try to advance the chains. Ethan Veazey's had a really, really good night and made a mistake there, but we're quick to forgive on the broadcast crew. Won't have an extensive post-game show. We didn't get a chance to go to the restroom at halftime, so that's going to be priority number one. Connor Drew will come up to the line of scrimmage. He's just going to turn and give it to Herman, who's going to go to the left side, cut back up. Tigers will stop the clock with their last timeout. There's a flag on the play behind. They're going to call a block in the back. They didn't indicate who it was on. I'm assuming it's on Ballard. I suppose in theory you could block in the back on defense. It's not likely. Really what's most remarkable, Troy, was we did an entire broadcast without any major malfunctions. We had a little tough, struggled out of the blocks.
As you say that, I'm wondering what happened here.
Everybody logged off. Everybody got mad.
I'd be shocked if everybody logged off at 9:29.
Up there.
I don't know.
Stephen Smith
everybody
hates
dropped
raccoons.
off, apparently. I don't know.
Not a lot of love on the Raccoons tonight, I'm going to say.
Was that during the longer story that
I don't know.
Yeah, come back, go get some
I started to
popcorn.
hate raccoons right in the middle of that story, to be honest with you. I didn't like them more when you got done telling it. I know that. So tight formation now. The Bombers are just going to – actually, they're going to roll out. They got a receiver, Nick Edwards. They're going to throw the ball down the field. Edwards is going to get hauled down at the 30. They'll stop the clock and move the chains. It's pretty sure that Bombers were just going to run that out. They throw a pass to Nick Edwards. He's going to get hauled down at 30. That'll get the clock still running, or keep the clock running. Minute 15 to play in the game. Now we probably will see Connor Drew take a knee. We won't. He's going to give it up underneath the fullback. Tigers can't stop the clock. They're going to have to run one more play after this one. This will run it down to about 40 seconds or so. And 20 seconds, 20 seconds. Tigers will lose their first district game. I'm going to assume it's going to be 27-17. That's usually where something happens, where the Tigers will pick up a fumble, run it back, and I'll be wrong. But they'll head to Carlisle next week. Carlisle team who's beaten Pella and Norwalk. Yeah. Or no, not Norwalk. They beat Pella, though. Norwalk and Carlisle both beat Pella this year.
I think there was a big game between Carlisle and where are they playing tonight?
Would be district game, so possibly Norwalk. Maybe they're playing Norwalk tonight.
Norwalk.
So they will not have to start the play clock again. The Tigers are going to fall 27-17. Pretty hard-fought game tonight, an entertaining game. But Tigers will come out short on the scoreboard as the clock runs out 8:76. Troy, nice job tonight. Thanks again to Chad Olson for helping us out. We will see you next time on the YouTube channel for Gilbert Tiger Football.